Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Not waiting till the end. We're starting this shit right now, sir. Oh, look at him dancing. Ooh, man.
I'm doing the titty.
Why are you giving me that look?
He's just riding a dick right now.
Jesus Christ. Oh, what the hell? I wish
Allie, she took the acid I gave her. Nice.
Dude, Allie on acid would be fucking hilarious, man.
Or terrifying.
I see Batman.
That Spider-Man was good. No, I'm just playing. People are not going to talk to me about Spider-Man. Speaking of that, tonight we are talking about Spider-Man because, yeah, it's the Midnight Chat Tag. Now, no, there's no Anthony Wilson here. I'm sorry. You know, he's doing, what is he doing again? That game, what's that shit called?
Game Jam, I think it's called.
I think it's one of those things where they assemble like these random teams of game developers, and it's like they give them like I think an hour to like 8 hours to do a whole video game throughout the day, and whoever comes up with the most I think comprehensive and most easy to play video game wins some amount of money. So hopefully he wins and brings it back to me.
Oh, I know, yeah. Man, make us popular over the video game thing. I want to make an MCA video game, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But yeah, people know.
8-bit.
I think Alan's like, no, fucking, this joke's not
The
working.
idea of ganja with a large amount of money terrifies me, and it should terrify everyone else, too.
It should terrify everybody else, and I would be fucking scared because...
Hey, y'all be fine. All I'm going to worry about is my nose and my lungs, man. That's the only one.
No, we'll be fine, probably. You, on the other hand. That's what I'm concerned about.
Mind.
No, but people know. Make sure to message us, either Ganja Guru or Birdman, and then they'll give you a link to the call so we can hang out. Because another thing too, tonight's going to be a very, very, very short show. And even though I said that, it might be like fucking 3 hours, not because I said that. But the thing is, tonight we actually have the Blockbuster night, viewing party tonight and everything. Alan, I'm gonna go and show the poll. But why don't you tell people about how this is going to go? Because I don't even know like the fucking movies until I'm actually going to click on this shit. So,
yeah. So as we always do, we always like to put a poll just to mostly get the order. And what we're going to do is at the end of the show, me or Ganja are going to post a link to the rabbit. We're going to check it out. And so far what's winning is Jurassic Park. So we're going to see that, then Men in Black, and then Independence Day, and we'll see how long we can go for.
There's a lot of votes on this, man, but I'm kind of curious. It's funny how no one said E.T. or Jaws, and these are the two movies I really fucking hate.
See, I honestly get why people don't want to watch E.T. because, let's be honest, that's kind of as a kid's movie. It was really inspired with, like, children in mind, and it's very fucking long. I think it's almost, like, 2 hours plus. So it doesn't really make sense if we're all going to just start off with E.T. and try to hang in there for the rest of the movies because everything else is, like, an hour and a half or so forth.
Exactly, and the thing is too, like, I just don't feel like there's a whole lot of like I don't know, like entertainment value in E.T. I mean, it's a good movie. I'm not gonna talk shit about it or anything, but it's just kind of like it's so chilled out. Jurassic Park is a fucking journey, man. Alan's gonna watch it for the first time. People, please don't ruin it for this man. Don't be talking shit and everything, y'all.
Also, yeah, like I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. Usually when we do these after-hour viewing party, guys, we want you guys to engage in conversation, talk about the movie. You know, just have little talks among yourselves. You know, among a few people that you like to hang out with, but. Keep in mind, it is a viewing party. It's in the title. It's in the name. So make sure to constantly, like, you know, make sure it's about either the movie or if you've just been talking for like 30 minutes straight, come on now. It's common courtesy to shut up for like 5 minutes and just watch the movie. So, you know, keep the talking to a minimum and just, you know, have a good time and enjoy the night. And just like usual, I'll be posting the link inside the chat room and inside the comment section as soon as this video is done uploading.
Yes, and speaking of that, man, when you guys see that, go ahead and go to the Midnight Chat Tag live stream, even though you guys are watching it right now, and then look into the comment section. And speaking of the comment section and things of that nature, here's the thing. Tonight, as you can see by the thumbnail right there, that I finally got to work ahead of time. God damn it, it's a pain in the fucking ass, YouTube. Fix that shit. But we're talking about Superman Red Sun tonight. Apparently, that comic book that came out, I don't know how long ago. apparently going to make a fucking live action movie. Live action, like with real people.
I love it.
Fucking weird. By the way, Allie, have you ever heard of that Red Sun?
Yeah, of course. I read the graphic novel.
See, and I just don't know about this shit. So we'll talk about that right now in a little bit too. And then also, I'm going to go right back to the webpage and everything as well. We're talking about, obviously, Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, tonight, we're not going to be doing spoilers. So you guys can watch the reviews. Hopefully, everyone's cool and doesn't spoil shit that shouldn't be spoiled. Because believe it or not, this is not a Deadpool situation. There is spoilers to be had.
Actually, there's a lot to plotline for future movies to just downright cameos, man. Because there's a lot of Easter eggs throughout this film.
Yeah, a ton, man. And I mean, we'll get into that, but I mean, it's the first comic book movie that I don't fucking hate, so I'm kind of happy about that. Another thing too, Batman Gotham by Gaslight. We're talking about that as well, and then a couple other things. And tonight, Flex and Chill. So if you guys have been seeing movies, go ahead and kind of jot the stuff down or whatever, you know, get some kind of notes down because you guys are going to be reviewing movies tonight. When we get to Flex and Chill, we will be talking about movies that you guys have seen on, you know, social media, or not social media, fucking, what do you call that? Like, some type of media. Live
The
streaming.
Twitters, the Facebooks, and of course, the Googles.
And the Netflixes. And the Hulu.
And MySpace.
But no. That needs to come back, though. MySpace was
No, it
not that
doesn't.
bad. That was
All
not
right,
that
all right.
bad.
I actually give you some credit with that, Nick. MySpace had more customization options and more ways to personality than fucking Facebook has. You literally just get a blank wall.
Well, look at it now. I mean, this is a nice fucking...
It's still around?
Yeah, of course it
Yeah.
is.
I buried that shit when I deleted my account.
Look at that. You even have a music section.
You had a
here.
MySpace account?
Yeah,
I
did.
don't. I'm going to add a Midnight Chat type MySpace.
I'm older than Ganja. How the fuck do you have a MySpace account?
Because I was a little pussy and I did what my parents didn't let me do.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing.
No, for real, did you have
And
MySpace?
I loved it. No, it was so funny. So I was with my friend, and like everyone in my was it middle school? I think it was. Everyone in my middle school, or it could have been elementary. Pretty sure it was middle. But everyone in my school had a MySpace, and I was so jealous because my mom was like, "No, you can't have one. I don't. You know, I forbid it. Whatever." So like I was with my friend one day, and she was at my house, and she's like, "Man, you should get a MySpace." And I'm like, my mom told me I can't. Like, come on, do it. So I went ahead and did it. And my mom was out like doing grocery shopping or getting some like food for us. And so she got back. So I was like, so I did it. And then right afterwards, I was like, oh my God, my mom's going to be so mad. She's going to do it. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And my friend's like, calm down. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to calm down. My mom's going to kill me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then so like,
Over MySpace?
yeah, so like the garage door, I hear the garage door open. And I'm like, oh crap, oh my God. So like I go to the garage door. And my friend was like, just don't tell her. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. Oh my God. So like she walks to the door and I'm like, Mom, I got a MySpace. And she's like, okay.
God
Don't worry.
damn.
And she's
You
like,
thought
don't
you were
do
going to
it.
get an ass whooping to end
She
all ass
literally was
whoopings.
just like, okay, so?
Yeah, like,
What's your point?
congrats,
I'm
dude.
What? I thought you'd be mad. She's like, yeah, really, it's okay.
I'm liking the YouTube chat, by the way. Fuck, well, this shit's all fucked up. No, but Tom says, yeah, like Tom, or what's his name? Grace
Tom.
Dark Lord, Dank Lord. Who the fuck is that? Grace
How'd you get
Dank Lord.
Tom out of that?
Man, no, because people are posting pictures of Tom from MySpace, which, by the way, too,
Oh,
like,
Gosh!
everybody's friend. But Tom was
Oh,
like
it is
fucking.
Tom. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no, no, he's talking about Tom was a G or whatever. Which, by the way, people, I know I'm fucking things up over here too. You know, I'm new to this whole YouTube live chat HTML thingy on the actual page. But yeah, make sure to keep getting involved in the whole like you know, YouTube chat thing, or whatever, because I want to get both audiences. I know some of you guys don't have a Double Toasted account, which, by the way, fuck you for not having one. You need to have a Double Toasted account. It's free, right? Isn't it free to just go in the chat and stuff, Ganja? Like, I can't remember. Yeah.
It's free for the YouTube chat, and for Double Toast chat, you have to make an account on doubletoast.com to join on the show.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure to, you know, people do that. Especially with that said too, make sure to once again message us. We can give you a link to the Google Hangouts call. And when you guys come in, there is rules though. Okay, we don't just come over here and just have a big old fucking fun time, man. So Ganja, why don't you tell them?
I love telling the rules every week. I usually try to come up with something special, but since my buddy here, Anthony, ain't here to bounce off, I ain't got nothing but just the regular rules for y'all. So example, rule number 1, newcomers join the call first. That includes those new, fresh smelling faces that I love to enjoy. Hit us up in the PM boxes, you know, me or Nick or, of course, Birdman or Allie, and we'll get you in the call for a topic. Rule number 2, do not talk over each other. It's just plainly rude. And as you can see, it makes no sense if you try to listen to it again, so please don't do it. Again, do not talk over each other. Rule number 3, please no nudity. This one's kind of guaranteed when it comes to Facebook and YouTube and just anything in general. Keep your titty on Pornhub. Rule number 4, don't give anyone else the link. We have a planned show, and that includes who comes on for certain topics. So if you give anyone else the link, we will kick you and that dumbass that got the link. Rule number 5, read the rules, and Alley Girl.
Don't be a dick.
I wish you say it louder.
This has been approved by Bam.
It's like you build it up, and I'm like,
Don't be a dick. Hey, hi.
yeah.
Don't be a
I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, that time she's like,
Exactly.
Only dogs heard that word.
hey, Allie, why don't you turn the camera around so we can see who else is in the room with you and the reason why you can't be saying certain words. Huh? That's right. That's right. Give him my space. Shit. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No one uses my space anymore.
Oh, I'm just saying, you really are scared of her, man. To be scared of a MySpace thing and not to say dick. That could be a guy's name, by the way, okay? It's not a cuss word.
Well, then call him Richard.
Scary. My mom turns into the Hulk when she's angry. Like, I'm not messing with that.
Oh, speaking of someone who gets angry sometimes. Well, actually, this is a person who never gets angry.
One time. Which
That's on his resume. Sometimes gets pissed.
Justin
no,
gets
I
mad
would see
when...
me in person. I never get angry.
No, but by the way, it's nice seeing you back home and everything, too, because last time that fucking scared me when you were in Alan's room. Like, that shit was really, really terrifying to see. Someone just
That
white
was
privilege
the
and whatnot.
best. That's my favorite moment that we've done in this show in years.
It really is. No, that was hilarious, dude. But yeah, man, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Just took it a little easy today. You know,
When did you
had
get
a
back
big
home?
busy. Oh, I mean, I've been home all today. Oh, you mean from the trip?
Yeah, for sure.
I came back Sunday, so I've been back for a while now. I had a new job to go to.
Yeah, hey, so can I ask you another question, sir?
Sure.
See, I'm looking at the YouTube chat, and apparently someone named Jay-Z Gamer says hashtag Nick can't read. Now, I will say, since you're here, little bitch, like...
No, that's actually the
Oh,
rapper
wait,
Jay-Z.
I think I hear another call coming.
No, man, no. I won't kill you, though. It's okay. And I can read. You're right. I'm fucking retarded. But it's all right.
I know. Just teasing. Love you, Nick.
If I say I'm retarded but use a word retarded, does that still insult retarded people? Because since I'm
Yes.
one of them, like,
No.
I think it's all good. I'm sorry.
I don't know where you're going with that. I have no idea.
I was just wondering, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. But no, man. Here's the thing. While we're already offending people and everything, I'm just going to put this out here right now. And I want to play a game with it, actually. I'm going to see if I can actually scroll this story to a certain spot so the answer isn't there. Let me see. Okay, here we go. This is perfect. So, people, someone died recently. Boo-hoo, the whole thing. Hopefully, you guys didn't watch the high score, or else they would have, like, mentioned it. But yeah, Stanley's wife. Now, looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and move up so you guys can see anything. What's the name of the wife? Anybody know?
Joan.
Fuck,
yeah.
damn it. All right. I was gonna make fun of people because
Of course I know my answers to my questions. I'm the quiz master.
No, because everybody was so upset
Nerd.
over it, and dude, I swear to God, I didn't feel like anybody knew the girl's name. I feel
Well,
like
that's the thing. Like, they're upset for a person passing. Obviously, they're upset, but also because it belonged to she was Stan Lee's person, and it's like you feel bad for Stan Lee as well.
That's like if you were friends with like the cool old man down the street, you just met his wife like a handful of times, but didn't really get to know her name, and you find out she passed. You're not gonna really feel bad for the wife necessarily, but you're gonna feel bad for the old man down the street because you're friends with him.
Now,
Exactly.
I know a lot of us aren't really into the comic books in here. I mean, I think Allie's is the main one who's into, and it's not, she's into DC more so than Marvel. But does
Right.
anyone in here like remember like him mentioning her or her doing anything? I didn't even know he was married, honestly, for a while.
I think the big thing is that he keeps his personal life separate from his Marvel persona. He doesn't want to drag his wife out into the open like that. Because I just saw a video that they did about his wife a while back, and he was talking about, oh yeah, she's like the most influential person in my life. She's done this kind of stuff for me, and it feels like he really wants to guard her as a kind of a special treasure in his life.
Yeah, because the Hollywood
How I-
Reporter even said something about like how her passing was pretty quiet. Like he didn't really tell anybody or anything. It was kind of like discovered almost. Like it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how private he is.
Yeah, Justin, were you telling me, or was it somebody else telling me that Madam Web is his wife was the inspiration for Madam Web in the Spider-Man?
I didn't say that, but I believe it. So
I had somebody telling me that his wife, like maybe this is wrong or not, maybe someone in the chat could tell me I'm wrong, but his wife was the inspiration for Madam Web, which is kind of like something in the Spider-Man lore that's like deep in Spider-Man lore.
Yeah, and I'm looking over here too on what Skull said in the chat, and he's showing a picture of some old lady holding on to Stan Lee. Like, damn, fuck yeah.
What movie is that?
I don't know.
Is that
that's
Apocalypse?
X-Men, I think, isn't it? Or is it?
He was in X-Men Apocalypse as a cameo?
You know what? Now that especially from like the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, I could definitely see the resemblance.
Yeah,
I could have sworn that scene. Oh, no, I could have sworn that scene was from Apocalypse or The Last Stand. It was one of those two.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So
He wasn't in The Last Stand because I remember that movie.
What's up, Mr. Kilgore?
No,
Good
actually,
to
no,
see
he
you,
was in
brother.
Last Stand. He was in the flashback sequence in the beginning with young Jean Grey. He's in the background.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Booyah.
See, I'm glad that Kilgore and Justin, now you guys are here because, yeah, like, I didn't know anything about this. I didn't even know that he was married. I didn't know anything. But, you know, then again, I'm a guy who just doesn't go and research shit because I'm fucking an asshole.
Except for wrestling, apparently.
Yeah, except for wrestling. I know way too much about that shit. It's almost embarrassing.
Yes. When was Stan Lee in wrestling?
He was in the audience watching wrestling because he has good taste.
Wait, that's
Excelsior, Undertaker.
I guarantee you he was there at some point. I got a cameo in everything.
that actually poses a great question. Nick, has he ever been in like any wrestling promotions or anything like that?
He went to man, I'm not doing this. No.
No, you
He
are.
was-
No, because hey, it's the only time we could fit your wrestling with some superhero shit. We're gonna fucking do it.
No, he was a fan of WWE. Here's the thing too, like they had to console him a lot because, admittedly, dude, wrestling and comic books are very, very similar, and they stole some of his ideas, like a lot. and he's taken a few from wrestling. Now I can't really actually pick those characters out because I don't know a lot about comic books, but
Right.
they share ideas. You know what I mean? I think like the same thing goes for DC and Marvel. Like I don't know how Stan Lee would feel about DC taking certain ideas because didn't Brainiac come after Mr. Octopus and stuff like that, or am I wrong?
There's been so many versions of Brainiac that you could say one of the versions probably was inspired to some degree from, from Doc Ock. But for the most part, like I think they came around the same time because Brainiac's a very high-profile Superman villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's
I mean,
the
to
thing.
be fair, all DC and Marvel steal from each other back and forth. It does no one did this first and one did this first. They're all it's just a constant switching out between them.
Yeah, so I can't really imagine Stan Lee ever being irritated if wrestling stole something. Stan Lee's like, yeah, well, dude, like, it's imagination. Let her fucking run wild, you know?
When he was in charge, he was like ahead of all, like, well, from I heard, like a lot of the crossovers and stuff they did with DC and a few other products at the time. Like when he was ahead of Marvel, he was kind of a little too loose with the IPs. That's kind of why we're dealing with the Sony situation and stuff like that, because people were inspired from that idea of, you know, letting people rent out the IP. And then they all became popular, so it's hard for Sony, not Sony, but
Yeah, they would have
Marvel.
gone bankrupt and they would have been Marvel.
Well, that too, but like, for example, I think it wasn't not the X-Men, but they were starting to sell like random heroes the rights to people. Like I think the Punisher was owned by I forget what studio, but it was a small studio for a little while.
Yeah,
It didn't even make no possible sense why this studio would own the IP. It was just them trying to get money off their characters when they were going through the the recession.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know, but on the subject of that, because we all know that, you know, with Comic-Con coming up, you know, obviously Marvel pretty much just whoops ass, and I don't know what they're going to be coming out with, you know, as far as news and posters and headlines, but one thing I want to bring up, that I've been meaning to bring up like the last two shows we've had, and hopefully I don't get made fun of for this shit, because I'm really, really excited. Let me move this Facebook post out of the fucking way. This thing over here, Jurassic World, y'all. Apparently, a trailer is rumored to debut at San Diego Comic-Con, which I think is in about, it's like July 22nd is when this is happening.
Yeah,
right?
like
So a
2
couple
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
weeks.
Have they released any additional information, like what the possible plot or characters are going to be?
They've teased it a little bit, but not a lot of details. Like the biggest news is they changed the name a little bit. Didn't they,
Yeah,
Nick?
Jurassic World, Fallen
The
Kingdom.
last night.
No, dude.
Oh,
Okay,
that's nice.
that's the funniest thing. That's the funniest thing, Alan, is because the fucking Fallen Kingdom. They took Kingdom from something. I forgot what it was, but Fallen.
Transformers?
I'm sick of the. Well, I don't know if it's Transformers, but I mean.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So this is the part
we
where they
go.
have time traveling dinosaurs that go back and kill Hitler, and then they also show how they connected to, you know, King
Oh,
Arthur.
the
and
dinosaurs
Merlin.
have been throughout history the whole time?
At this point,
Stupid.
I'll say that. That was my favorite part of the movie, man.
Yeah, I don't know. And by the way, I just got scared in the chat. She's bringing up the guy who died from True Blood. I don't know much about him. I didn't really have anything.
Oh,
Lafayette.
Nelson Ellis.
Lafayette. I can't remember.
Yeah, do you remember that particular? I mean, I don't know if you read the story, Ali, but the guy, man, what's his name again, Justin?
Nelson Ellis. He was in
Ellis.
True Blood. He also was in Get On Up, which I thought he was great in that film too. So.
But
Oh,
Ali,
shit.
do you remember this
Really?
particular
Oh,
person?
that guy? God damn. 39?
No.
Shit.
Yeah, and I don't know anything. That's why I didn't bring him up or anything. But yeah, like, man, Jenny scared me though, because when Jenny said that, it was when we were talking about Stan Lee, and I thought Stan Lee
Oh.
died. And I was like, oh my god. The guy scrolled up in the chat.
We're all so scared about that, you know. I mean, it's going to happen at some day, but it's just like, oh no, he coughed. Did he die?
There have been so many like close calls, and, like articles. It's like Stan Lee and dead in the
Allie,
same
slow
sentence. You're
down.
like,
You're wearing
Allie
darker colors.
is-
Allie,
Slow down.
Allie. No.
oh
no.
my god,
Slow down.
no!
No, man.
I
It's okay, Jenny. Jenny's like, I'm sorry, Nick. No, I wouldn't be too upset, but I'd be scared for all of y'all. I don't want to see Kilgore start crying right in the fucking camera.
I just hope he passes on Friday so we can get the views on Saturday.
Well, to be fair, Cameron did film his like next 5 cameos already, so they can just insert him whenever.
Are you for real?
Oh yeah, no, because they know he's not gonna live forever.
All
so.
right, how close are they from doing that CGI shit like they did with Tupac and just having a bunch of motion capture?
It's like what was it, Doctor Strange? If you remember the cameo that he has there when he shows up on the train, on the bus or whatever.
Right.
They had that already pre-planned. They just insert whatever movie behind it, and that's what we do.
Even if the worst does happen at any point, he got the chance to create some of the most influential comic book characters of all time and then see them on the big screen to further influence. So it's like he's lived a pretty good fucking life.
Yeah.
And this has been our Stanley obituary. Thank you.
No shit, though. I mean, that's the thing that's funny is, like, even the way Justin said it, too, because I feel like they are having a discussion behind the scenes when they make these movies of, like, yeah, you don't got many years left. You better, like, get these out ahead of time. Like, Stan Lee is still agreeing to do these. Like, do you think he's ever offended, like, fuck you guys, man. I got a couple years. Let me feel this shit later.
Stanley loves this stuff. He loves doing it.
Man, he even on the fucking new Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Disneyland where they replaced the Tower of Terror. He's even one of the extras in the background.
I am surprised.
Stanley's gonna cameo in every Marvel film long after death. They're gonna
I want him to do every movie. I want him to start cameoing in random bullshit at this point.
I'm waiting for like the next reboot of Spider-Man is gonna have like they're not gonna talk about Uncle Ben again. It's just gonna be a picture of I miss my uncle. It's gonna be Stan Lee.
Yeah, a younger Stan Lee. That would be awesome. Oh.
I hope this is my dream for the Stan Lee cameos, is they eventually get to the Watchers in the Marvel Universe and say Stan Lee's just a Watcher. So it makes sense that he cameoed, like it's canon, like he's just watching the
Just
the
not
Marvel
a talking
universe.
role. He's just one of the council members of the Watcher, just in the back.
Exactly. I want that to happen. Because in Guardians 2, they have him there talking to a bunch of Watchers. So I want that to be true.
And then I was a mailman.
I will say, whether or not his health is good or bad right now, and we're all scared, I will say, when it comes to Stan Lee, life finds a way. The Fallen Kingdom. Like,
okay, you know what?
That is a cool subtext, but makes no sense when it comes to Jurassic World. The Fallen Kingdom? What?
Well, it's not like they can use Lost World again. It's in the title now.
I'm intrigued by it.
Man, they just fucking put that shit into a thesaurus like scrambler and said, we need synonyms for these words. Lost, fallen, like.
No, but that's the thing. It makes sense because Jurassic Park, like the last thing we saw about Jurassic World and the whole like in the movie, I think they call it Jurassic World too. So I guess I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
But like, the entire place was down to shit. I mean, it was a Fallen Kingdom. You know what I mean? A T-Rex was out, like just I'm fucking free, like you know.
Yeah, but that's every single Jurassic Park thing. Dude, we made a bunch of dinosaurs. We don't know how to contain them because we're idiots. And
I will kick your ass. You haven't seen Jurassic Park.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I will
just
kill
say.
you.
Oh, am I wrong?
No, I mean yes. Wait. No, Kilgore, I saw that you're trying to get my attention. Give this man some fucking knowledge over here, man. Spit some knowledge at this bro.
Like, the only reason I'm intrigued for this title is that the first 4 Jurassic Park movies felt somewhat contained. So if this is something where this situation goes on a global scale, I'm interested in seeing how that's going to play out.
Okay. And, you know, I'm very optimistic about this, too. You know, and I feel the same way you do. And that's the thing. Like, tonight, man, I almost feel like we should not watch Jurassic Park tonight for the viewing party because I really want you to watch all these movies, dude. It's a fucking journey. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the Lost World is it's such a great journey when that girl just does gymnastics and kicks the dinosaur through the.
God, no!
Oh man,
feel better than
that was a magical journey when they have the horrible dialogue from Vince Vaughn and the random dinosaurs that pop up.
To be fair, when has Vince Vaughn outside of like 2 movies made any good dialogue?
Exactly.
Fair. To be fair, yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, like life finds a way.
No, Vince Vaughn finds a way.
No, okay, Allie, like you gotta be on my side on this shit because you know, we're not too much in the same like aspect of age and whatnot. And I would pick on Alan over here for the age thing, but he's the same age as me and still hasn't seen shit. God damn it. But like Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, you know, The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, aren't you hyped for this? Like, I mean, especially with Jurassic World ending the way it did. Like, this is fucking cool, right? Am I alone here?
I mean, I'm interested in seeing.
Yeah, like I'm kind of curious. I like maybe the last 15 minutes of Jurassic World. That like the T-Rex and the what are the other pterodactyl? I don't know what the heck they're called.
Oh, how dare you!
But yeah, that was it though. And everything else, I just didn't really care for. I thought the kids were annoying. Chris Pratt wasn't bad. but like I just wasn't extremely interested. And like, yeah, the new one comes out, I'll probably see it, but it's not like gonna be on my top most anticipated movie of that year.
See, and like the only other thing we got left, I mean, we already got the big thing, Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I forgot that was going to be a big like summer blockbuster type of thing. I forgot that was going to come out in July, so like I guess that's a huge, summer thing. But the next one is Thor: Ragnarok, and
no,
look,
we still have 3 more movies to look forward to. I mean,
wait, what else, Justin? Because I am curious.
Dunkirk, War of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh God.
I guess Dark Tower for the people who are interested. We still got,
When is Dark Tower coming out?
August.
Is it August?
Okay.
Yeah, and can I also mention Detroit by Captain Bigelow?
Well, but that's not a blockbuster movie. That's.
I mean, okay, then yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I don't even think Dark Tower's gonna be a block. Dude, like I feel like that's gonna flop big time. And
Dark Tower feels like one of those middle road blockbusters. It's like one of those things that are designed to be a summer hit, but they didn't really have the huge blockbuster budget.
Oh, speaking of blockbuster budget, do you want to know a huge budget coming out soon and no one's talking about it? Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Actually, you know what, dude? My mom is not like huge into movies, and she has talked to me about that movie like nonstop.
Oh, I can't wait. I don't think it's gonna be good.
So
but
I think the general public is interested. There's just no diehard like looking for it, like Spider-Man, Dunkirk, or the other films that are hugely more popular.
Just so that as much press for that budget,
Yeah.
No, Justin, say what you were saying one more time because I couldn't really hear you.
Sorry, I think it's going to be more of a bigger European hit because it's a French comic book that it's adapted from, so I'm sure it's got better international appeal than in the U.S.
And Luc Besson is good. Like he does some weird shit, but I think he's a good director.
Yeah. So I mean, the big thing I feel is like as far as tag worth and search volume on the internet, I think the biggest thing is going to be whatever's going to be coming out, I guess, on July 19th because it's preview night. Now, I think I'm old school. I'm from the 90s, so like previews, they're trailers. Like that's what we used to call them back in the day. Is that what that night is dedicated to, Justin? I mean, I know you know a lot about Comic-Con and whatnot too. Like, do they have a night full of trailers?
No, I mean, I know just enough about Comic-Con. I'm not like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe you, Kilgore. I mean, you look like a guy that would. I mean, you love comic book stuff all the time. So, I mean, do they have a night just for all the trailers to come out, or do they kind of like spread that throughout the entire week or whatever?
I know for this particular year, like Marvel's going to be bringing some stuff there. Netflix is going to be showing up big there. So it's going to be a big showcase for them to showcase, what works they have coming out.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We'll see, man. It's like what, literally 14 days from now that all these, we'll have a whole bunch of news to talk about, man. Next, the 2 midnight chat tags that are coming up might be fucking huge when it comes to trailers and trailer reactions and whatnot. But Jenny's in the house. How you doing, girl?
Hello, guys.
Wow, you have. I like how
Jenny.
I like you had the whole chopstick thing in the back of your head. What's that stuff going on? Like,
hey, in case he gets hungry during the show, she just takes them off and.
I know, and I'll be like. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow,
I'm happy.
So sensitive, Nick.
That was racist.
Wait, was that racist?
It's a cultural tune from them. So is it racist to cite a tune you can hear?
And who doesn't like kung fu fighting? it's accurate. I'm just saying.
No, man, I love that song.
No.
The first time I heard that song was Beverly Hills Ninja. Yeah.
Oh
shit.
God.
Wow.
Yeah. See, I told you I'm old, man. Shit. But here's the thing. I'm gonna bring this up now since we're talking about comic book shit or whatever. Just kind of get this out of the way here because I don't even know what the hell this shit is. But Batman, what's it called again?
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, Gotham by Gaslight.
By Daylight.
By Gaylight, you said?
It sounded like you said.
I don't know.
I just picture like Batman at a gay club, like with like a Batman outfit with the cowl, just like weird like furry boots and shit.
He's the fabulous knight.
Batman's fabulous with them heels, though. With them heels.
Okay, here's the thing, dude. I'm looking at this right now, and I don't know what trailer of this is to, but what's up with that fucking scene right there, buddy?
I looked away because I was doing something, and then I looked back and I picture Harley Quinn's ass.
What the fuck, dude?
Hey, at least we all know she applies the makeup thoroughly.
It is a good way to sum up DC's current views of their comic book characters. They are literally whoring them out.
Michael Bay.
Damn.
No.
I think it's coming from that new Batman and Harley Quinn movie coming out, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm looking down. It says that here. But basically, the whole thing I'm going to bring up really quick is the whole Gotham by Gaslight. Now, for one, the name of this fucking comic book or whatever, this series or whatever they're going to be bringing up, it sounds like a fart joke. Like, Gotham by Gaslight. What does it even mean? Like someone farts?
It's a reference to the original comic is an Elseworld story in which Batman and Sherlock Holmes fight Jack the Ripper, and Sherlock Holmes always been depicted in Victorian England back when the lights on the street lights used to be gaslight. There'd be a bunch of gas there, and someone's job every day was to light it up at the during the night.
Okay, no, that actually makes sense. And the thing that's kind of funny to me is the fact that I guess the main thing here is that Batman is trying to investigate fucking Jack the Ripper. Like that's the big thing there.
No fucking sense that they set this in contemporary times.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, don't you guys feel like this is kind of funny? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Allie, like, because here's the thing. Like, for one, did you read this? And two, do you find this whole entire thing completely ridiculous?
I'm not interested. Honestly, like, I'm just gonna like read the standard stuff like from the comics. I'm not like
the main what do you call it, canons or
whatever. Yeah, the main canon. This whole like other stories where it's like, hey, what happens if this would happen with this thing? I'm like, no.
You know what this reminds me of? And people have been talking shit about it a lot. It's been going down. Jenny, I'm looking at you, girl. I'm looking at you. You be talking shit about Transformers, and this, I know you're not. I know. Fuck me, I'm an asshole. But the thing is, Bumblebee went back and fought Nazis. Now Batman's going back.
That was great.
God.
Yeah, that was stupid too.
Yeah, it was
Bumblebee
stupid too.
was Transformers with Harriet Tubman.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, is that actually true? Because
yes.
I don't know if anyone's confirmed that.
Yes.
It's in the photograph. It's confirmed.
Okay, it's confirmed. Okay, because see, Nick, I know what you're getting at, and there's these always weird stories. But Nick, tell me what's the difference? What's dumber to you? Batman working with Sherlock Holmes, great detectives trying to find a criminal, or a giant 40-foot robot fighting Nazis?
But here's the thing. They just happen to be zombies. Bumblebee wasn't trying to fight Nazis.
Wait, he wasn't fighting Nazis.
Sorry, I got fucked up. I play a lot of.
Man.
I'm sorry.
What?
Hold on. Rewind. I'm saying, man, fuck it, dude. Fuck you. I quit. All right. Yes, Transformers is stupid, but also what's stupid too, whether or not he's fighting Nazis or investigating Jack the fucking Ripper, is the fact that there's a man in a bad suit trying to fight crime. Whether or not they make it real or a fake story or Gotham or real life or America, doesn't matter. The fact that Batman exists is fucking silly. And the fact that there's 20 different stories that probably don't match up or... Dude, like, they reboot stuff in comics, for Christ's sakes. Like, what story even is the real story?
Okay, well, so here's the thing. This comic is a very famous Elseworlds comic. It's not canon in the main storyline. It's a side story that's, essentially it's like comic book fan fiction. It's the idea, like, we take the story idea and we set to something new. Like, Superman Red Sun. The idea, like, what if Superman landed in Soviet Russia instead of America? It's just a fun story experiment. That's just the way it is. And any story idea can work if the story is good. We're not against Bumblebee fighting the Nazis.
I want that to be the standalone movie.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, if the story is good and worth watching, then we'll accept any type of story idea. But the thing is, it's a Michael Bay directed movie, and most of the time he's not very good at directing that stuff.
Shit, I can go further and say that Transformers could easily fit in World War II, the way the Nazis were all hyped up about wonder weapons and shit like that. Yeah. You could easily make a side story where they run into Bumblebee or Megatron in like a grave site or a dig site in Africa or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with Transformers.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that gets me scared of this, too, is the fact that, or DC Animation, or I don't know what they call themselves, but...
Yeah, DC Animation, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
but, like, as far as they go, they just did, and this is actually one of my favorite Allie moments, where she just flipped the fuck out over the Killing Joke. I mean, Allie, like, literally lost her shit.
Oh, God, yeah.
That was our most intense... That was our most intense argument ever. I wasn't even arguing, but like she killed everybody. But the thing is,
I knew it was gonna be terrible. Y'all were like,
okay, but no one knew it was gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one.
I had a feeling when I looked at that trailer. I was like, "This is going."
Okay, but you were saying that the freaking frames were dropping, like
yes,
90s was whispering in your ear.
See, here's the thing. With that, whoever is in charge of that needs to go, because now we're watching this little trailer to Batman and Harley Quinn, or whatever the fuck this is. And literally, like, this is a Michael Bayism right here. Like, her ass being right up against the camera and some fucking dude. I don't even know who that guy is. I think that's Batman. I don't know why he has blonde hair.
No, that's just another grunt or some bullshit.
Yeah, but he's like,
I honestly, yes. I'm going to get flack for this, but I fucking hate Harley Quinn. I've always hated Harley Quinn. I think she's horrible in everything she does, and I'm sick. I'm going to pull a little Ragnarok here and say I'm fucking sick of seeing her on the cover of every fucking DC thing nowadays. Like, what's the big fucking deal?
Wow. It's just the problem that they're trying too hard to sexualize Harley Quinn. Like, it's been they've been doing it ever since the beginning, but they've been really pushing it even more lately with the whole redesign of the character and the reboot of her origin story and all that kind of stuff.
And Suicide Squad on top of it.
Yeah, Margot Robbie like slutted that whole like man for now on like that's gonna be the whole gimmick. It's just like
But
her
that
ass
was
now.
before.
Oh, that was way before.
Oh,
Dude,
I
Margot
remember her
Robbie
being
is
clothed at least. I remember her
Well,
having
the other
pants
thing
on.
is, like, there was that controversy that was going on with Harley Quinn too, where they got in trouble because they're trying to petition fans to create images of Harley Quinn killing herself for cover of a comic book.
What the
Have you
fuck?
heard about that?
No, they were petitioned. What happened? They released a bunch of sexy images of her in suicide positions with like
yes,
a bathtub and hanging. It was fucking stupid and weird.
it was.
Wow, yeah, that's a
That
little
was ridiculous
ridiculous.
PR nightmare.
Yeah, oh, it was.
Yeah.
It was a huge
Oh.
disaster.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I'm gonna ask you, Allie, really quick because I actually like Harley Quinn. I'm sorry, but like, she's hot. I like her character. She's crazy. She's unpredictable. You know, Alan hates her right away, even before Suicide Squad. But like, for you, did Margot Robbie ruin her for you? Do you still like Harley Quinn? Do you care? How do you feel about Harley Quinn?
Yeah, I still love Harley Quinn. It's just I'm just sad, a little angry that this is the Harley Quinn that most people now know. That people who have maybe hardly ever like they've heard of the character, but they haven't really seen her in anything. If they don't actively follow like the animated series or read the comics, this is their first exposure to Harley Quinn, and it's just not her character. It isn't. Margot Robbie, I thought she was decent, although I wish she wouldn't go in and out of her accent. But the way her character is written is just horrendous, and it just takes away the aspects I think that make her so endearing and why she's so popular. Because like I felt so embarrassed because I named my dog after Harley Quinn, right? So
Hey,
we're in the movie theater. No, I'm with my mom in the movie theater seeing this movie, and the first thing to show of Harley Quinn, other than her being in the cage, is that sequence where you're showing that you had the picture of her dancing on the pole. And my mom's like, "You named our dog after this?" And
Hey, Kevin Smith named his daughter after. And that's how he feels.
I know, right? But it's just like I felt so embarrassed and just so ashamed at that moment to be a fan of this character, because it's like this is the first thing my mom is being exposed to this character, and it's like there's so much more to her. She's so much more likable and different than like when we first started and when we first saw her. I actually had to be like, "Hey mom, sit down. You're gonna watch like 1 or 2 episodes of Batman the Animated Series just so you could see how she really is supposed to be." Because I just felt so just mortified.
Yeah.
Mortified.
Her mom was like, "You named our dog after a slut."
Seriously?
Named her dog after
Like,
a
slut.
really? You like this character? And I'm like, I'm
But see-
sorry. Like, that's not how she is.
Okay, like the strip club thing, I get it. I totally get the strip club thing, but this whole like I find her annoying in the anime stuff because she's so cutesy. Like, "Hey, Mr. J," she really
voice.
does seem a little like crazy. Like I don't want to hear that accent. I don't want to hear that fucking like, "Hey, yo, how's it going?" Like, you know, fuck
Is she
that shit.
Latino? What?
I don't know what the fuck she is, dude.
That's who
Not
she
her
is.
That was
She's-
a weird accent.
Yeah, but that's not her.
I was like,
but,
It's
yeah.
supposed to be a Boston accent.
Yeah. Well,
No, not Boston. Brooklyn.
I'd rather
Yeah,
her
bro.
talk like somebody from fucking
Yeah.
Fargo. Like, you know what I mean? But Jenny, you're talking.
Oh yeah, Mr. J. I really like
Oh,
it when
yeah.
you
How
do
you
it.
doing, Mr.
Oh
J?
yeah, don't you know
Oh.
it's the Joker?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
I hate all of you.
Wow, man, it sounds just like Jenny.
No, Jenny, go ahead though. What were you saying?
I think right now, like, Harley Quinn has been kind of written poorly because they're really more going towards like the hypersexualized Harley Quinn. When I know in the animated series, like, they definitely got into more of like her personality and like her relationship with Poison Ivy. Like, that stuff fascinates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
More than her stuff with the Joker. So like, I really wish they would focus on that more in like Suicide Squad, like how she's more can be an independent woman. But no, she's pining over the Joker the whole goddamn time, and it's just really weakens her character.
Now here's one
Exactly.
thing I will
You know,
argue.
the whole thing that makes her different, like her so different, is that they're saying that she's more crazy than the Joker. And that is just a big no. Like, the Joker is the most craziest character, so unpredictable. Like, there's no other character in the DC universe that's just as crazy as the Joker. It's just an insult to that character. It really is, that you're saying that Harley Quinn is maybe even better than him. No.
No.
Yeah.
The Dark
it's
Knight
just-
would have been a weird movie if it was Harley Quinn instead of the Joker.
Ugh.
That would be good.
Oh.
Yeah, I would love that.
Fuck you! I will strangle you.
No, I'm going with Alan on this one. Seriously, that would have just been weird.
Yeah, it's.
But see, talking about weird, here's one thing I find weird, because we were talking about animated stuff, and obviously with animated stuff, you can be a little bit crazy. You can do some silly shit. You know what I mean? Even South Park exists because of animations, because if that shit was real, that'd be taken off the air within one fucking episode.
Well,
So,
yeah, a bunch of kids getting murdered, yeah.
yeah, fucking Kenny. Like, how many Kennys can you get? Or I forgot the kid who dies. What's fucking
Kenny, you got it.
Yeah, you're right.
I've been doing good. I'm always thinking I'm Ron. I'm like, oh, yes, I'm Ron. Everyone's like, no, good job, Nick. You fucking actually pay attention this time.
Oh, you're still an idiot.
I'm still an idiot, but just, I know this shit.
Nick, you're cool with me.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, I'm slinging that Ragnarok, by the way. No, but the thing
Hey,
is,
man, keep on the down. I was trying to buy a gram, like, tomorrow. Just
for the awesome
Anyway, you had a point.
No, the point is this, all this shit's ridiculous and crazy and everything, but then you get something like, Superman Red Sun.
yes!
I
See-
love Superman Red Sun. I love most of Superman Red Sun.
Yeah, and
I wonder
this
why
is actually,
Gonja likes this. I can't tell.
Well, no, the biggest thing is, like, this could be live action. This is not DC animation. This is, like, live action
It's
potential.
not actually getting made. They shot down the idea, apparently.
Oh, they
Oh my God.
Oh,
The story was, what happened was, Jordan Vogt Roberts, the guy who did Kong Skull Island, apparently was talking about how he pitched this
That would be
idea.
great.
And I know it would have been great, but apparently Warner Brothers is like, no, we don't want anything that weird. We want to go with something more mainstream that people can follow. Which, to be fair, Red Sun is a very strange story if you're not familiar with the idea that it's an Elseworlds comic, and it's supposed to be kind of a joke, but a serious joke at the same time, kind of thing.
Well, not only that, like, especially if the political stuff that's taken throughout the story, like the actual, like, they actually go really in depth about, like, the Soviet Union, their culture, the history, the ideas of Marxism and how that would affect, the difference in, like, Superman growing up out there in the Ukraine rather than, in Kansas. And it basically just shows how, Superman, no matter where you put him, if he's introduced to, a loving family, he would just be a hero no matter what. And it kind of pushes the difference between him becoming a leader of a country and trying to keep that attitude while dealing with, the pushback of the United States, the Red Scare and all that. And I guess, like, Luthor also gets involved at one point, becoming the president as well.
Yeah, though to be fair, Superman is also kind of the villain of the movie, of the book too, because you realize the more that he's climbing up the ladder to becoming the leader of the Soviet Union, he's kind of getting a little bit carried away with himself. He realizes that it's hard to rule a country, and even where they have Russian Batman fighting him at one point, which was
That's fucking funny.
But I will say the one downside to the comic is the way it ends, because like most Millard comics, he builds a really great story, like I'm just saying, this whole intimate socioeconomic political thing, and then the last 30 pages, he's like, and then everyone punches each other for a few pages.
Which is,
and then
finally, because it's a comic book at the end of the day, it needs to be that. Like,
but like he built up such an interesting world, and then he threw out all the logic to it and made kind of a... He also did this weird twist with the ending that I don't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't read the comic, but the way that he ties in this mythos in the last, like, 2 pages, you're just like, that's...
Not only that, Nick, it does the thing you hate where it kind of portrays what the characters were trying to get to and what their beliefs were at that point, just to have a copped-out ending.
Well, yeah, because they throw in one of those, like, out of nowhere, like, oh, hey, and by the way, this thing we never discussed, that's the big battle that we're going to have.
Yeah,
so
no,
fuck
No.
They should do an animated feature. Live action would be weird, but animated?
They actually did a live comic book movie that you could actually find on YouTube right now. You just Google up Red Sun Motion Comics.
Yeah, but I mean, like, an actual, like, I would love to see this as the next DC animated movie,
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust DC animated because they're not good with nuance and, specifics. Like, the main reason that Red Sun works so well, especially that you guys know I'm a huge history buff, and it takes a lot out of, like, its time to, like, craft Superman around the time, As a matter of fact, when he gets introduced to the United States is after the Sputnik fails.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Sputnik was a satellite.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of cues from history. So it has to be somebody that really cares about this product. That's why I was happy when it was the guy from Geek Con, because it seems like he actually cared about the product, the comic book, and he was going to make it good. But when it comes to DC animated thing, I don't trust him at the moment.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, because I know, Allie, earlier you were bringing up how, like, Jack the Ripper, or that whole Batman Jack the Ripper thing, I forgot. I already forgot what the fuck that was called. Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
God damn it, Gaslight.
Gaslight again?
By Daylight, yes.
Oh my god. That's awesome. Oh my god, but no, you said, Allie, that you didn't really find that kind of entertaining at all or interesting. Did you find this interesting versus that other kind of bullcrap?
Well, this is more interesting just because I've read the graphic novel, so... but I just don't think it's something that DC should explore right now, honestly. It's just going to confuse a lot of people. And I I just don't think they're capable right now of choosing a right writer and director to make this. I think they got really lucky with Patty Jenkins, but we got to go back to Zack Snyder, or sort of, Joss Whedon. And I don't know, I think I might have mentioned this before, but did you guys read that or hear about the screenplay that he wanted to do for Wonder Woman?
No.
It was
that was a long time ago, though.
No, but it was terrible. I'm like, if that's this vision, I'm not so sure even about Justice League. Hopefully he'll do okay with Batgirl, but even so, I just don't know if they really can get someone. Like, I would have to see more movies with DC for us to really kind of get more confident in their ability to choose a correct director and writer. Because this is something that could easily go south. And I just don't think right now that they're capable of producing this movie right now.
Yeah. So
and it would also confuse a lot of people. It's just like, well, is this in the same universe as the DCEU?
All right. What about
how
about this, Allie? What about either an animated series or like a Netflix live action?
Or, oh my god, if this is DC, they could incorporate this into one of the shows really easily. Because they had the Flash that does all this bullshit every time he goes back in time and fucks things up. He could just go back in time and fuck it up. It turns out Superman exists like in in Russia instead,
Yeah, that's
or Legends
cool,
of
but I
Tomorrow.
don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just don't want it on the CW.
Okay,
That's the
the
thing.
CW gets a lot of crap for its incest, but the superheroes
No,
Okay,
I'm a person that's just, I've never really been into a superhero. Like, I was briefly into Arrow, never got into the Flash. I think Legends of Tomorrow is just not all that great to me. Even Smallville to an extent. They all have this like campiness and cheesiness.
My heart.
And it's just, I'm sorry, I just don't think, especially for Red Sun, it's going to be a suitable place for something like that.
I wonder also with the current socio-political climate with the whole Russia thing.
Yeah.
Pushing this might be a little testy at the moment with everything going on with Russia.
Oh,
Just saying.
When World War III happens with Russia, it's not going to be because of DC.
Yeah, like I highly doubt.
No, I'm
this has
talking with
anything
Trump.
to do with what's going on.
Wait, are you gonna
Well,
say
that's the
that
thing.
Red
Like, I
Sun-
highly doubt it has anything to do with like what's going on with Trump right now because it takes place with the Soviet Union. It's about 40 years ago. That's like saying like, oh, if we talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis, it's going to like affect now. Not really.
But no, I'm also thinking like because people are stupid. They'll be like, oh, because of this whole Trump thing, they're gonna push all this Russia shit in Hollywood. You know, what bullshit people will come up with. So, just saying.
Conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So, and I know the chat's talking about, the Russian propaganda of Batman being on there and whatnot. Savage Templar, by the way, man. Yeah, I really can't wait to talk to this guy one of these days because he's fucking cracking me up in the YouTube chat. But the thing is, I'm going to go ahead and just segue into something really, really quick because now it's going to get to a community question. And I know he asked for a lot of community questions last week. We didn't really save a whole lot of them, so I'm going to go back and actually copy them for a future show. But one of them is from our boy, Niall Evans. And his question over here, guys, we're going to have you read this for me, buddy.
Yay! I can read.
Yay!
Everyone's biggest guilty pleasure movie.
Ooh, I need to think about this.
Oh, yes. I'm going to leave this up on screen for a little bit while I'm kind of going through mine because I have quite a few. You know what, actually?
Mine is Birth of the Nation. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
I did an entire night of mine, so.
Why would he make that joke?
It's ganja. He can make those kinds of jokes and no one's going to bat a fucking eye. If I said that, I'd be like fucking.
We all know Birth of Your Nation is inside of your Video H collection, man. Stop it.
Okay.
If I made that
Clearly,
same
other
joke,
favorite
I would have
movie
been
is, Song of the
destroyed.
South.
No, what's yours? Sound of the South? Wait, no, hold on. He said that shit and then he got quiet as fuck. Song of the South, yours is?
Song of the South. I was just joking with it. Like, Birth of the Nation's like, oh yeah, the second favorite movie is Song of the South.
Whew. Oh.
My favorite is Soul Plane.
Oh, you know what? And I realized Song of the South is a racist movie. I was thinking about Norm of the North. My bad.
That's racist.
A little different. A little bit different.
Wow.
Rob Schneider's a racist.
Wow, guys.
Would that surprise anybody, though?
White guy.
No, but you know what, Ganja? You were joking earlier, but you do have one that pissed me the fuck off. Now I remember. I'm going to go and show this. This, by the way, Ganja's being serious when he said this, guys. Okay, I'm going to go put it on screen. This bullshit. Oh, but now it goes to that. This is a haunted house, Marlon Wayans movie, the fucking Paranormal Activity.
Oh, don't know.
All right.
No.
Hold on. In my defense, the reason I love this movie so much is it was right before I was leaving Florida, and I went to go see it with all my homeboys that I haven't got to talk to. Some of them like I'm not gonna talk to forever because they got their own lives being fucked up at the moment. So it was like one of those last hurrah moments with a lot of people that I consider my best friend at the time. And we just got stoned and drunk and just went to go see this at the local movie theater. And we were giggling our asses off with the stupid shit. And, like, to be honest with you, I didn't think this was a good movie at all while I was watching it. But it caught me off guard when they had a scene where the dude smokes out with the ghost. When the joint gets picked up out of nowhere and he hits the joint. And the fucking smoke actually forms the anatomy of the lung. I just thought that was a little too smart for this movie, so it made me laugh. So I kind of appreciate this movie for being a stupid parody for what it was. Don't get me wrong, the second one is abysmal. I don't sure that nobody watched that shit.
Have you ever seen the first one sober, or at least to your degree of sober, which is
yes, I have. Yes, I have. I wouldn't recommend it unless it's for all of us to make fun of it.
Can I say, Ganja, I actually enjoyed that movie, and I've seen it only sober. It's a stupid, fun movie.
See, it's stupid. Nobody says it's smart. Everyone agrees this is dumb as fuck. But if you just let it ride, you'll enjoy it.
Kilgore, what the hell, Marcus? Yeah. What in the hell? No, you know what? And I'm kind of curious, too, because I'm going to wonder if he can beat you, actually. Kilgore, what is your guilty pleasure movie, man?
This is a movie I will defend to the end of time, but it is Project X.
Oh,
yes!
Yeah.
That's not really that bad, man. That's not a guilty pleasure.
But some people, if you tell them, like, oh, you're into this movie, it's a bunch of, like, 3 white kids having a party. Like, it seems stupid on paper, but I love a movie that's so willing to take this stupid concept and run with it. And it's just one of those guilty pleasure movies I watch.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the sequel to Kick-Ass.
Every year.
Not Kick-Ass. What the fuck was that other movie with those bunch of idiots doing that shit?
Chronicle?
No, Superbad. Superbad's fine. Not I don't know. I said Kick-Ass, and my brain's like, no.
And I'll give you a pass. McLovin's isn't Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that's fine. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, isn't it unfortunate for that guy that his name's gonna be McLovin for fucking ever?
Like, because that's the only character he ever plays. He only plays McLovin in anything he does.
Like, he even tried to do a different kind of character and role model, but even towards the middle to the end of that movie, he's just a fucking nerd, just like the kid from Superbad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess his name is Christopher Mintz Plaze.
Speaking of Nazis.
Yeah, and speaking of Nazis and Russian propaganda, like
who brought up Nazis?
Dude, I want to see Christopher Mintz-Plasse in a Schindler's List like movie now, just playing some Nazi character.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm about to get really, really depressed and serious right now. Fucking this guy was born literally just like 2 months before I was, and he's done so much shit. I'm not even McMuffin. Like, I'm nothing.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this way. You're going to be known as Ragnarok, which is cool. He's going to be known as McLovin for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Oh, the guy who does retarded quizzes. Fucking shit. No,
well,
man,
no, Ragnarok means the end of the world, man. Come on now. Think about it.
Nick, in your honor, when Thor Ragnarok comes out on your birthday, we're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
We're not celebrating.
Disney and Marvel made a movie for you.
Yep. No, fuck Marvel. Fuck everything. No. But man, Christopher Mintz, by the way, like now, like I never really gave a shit about McLovin, but because of the fact that he was born in the same year as me and has so much more money and so much more everything, and he's McLovin, like fuck this guy. I'm literally like I hate this guy now. So thanks a lot for this conversation.
Don't worry, no one's gonna fight you on it.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence is born the same year as me. I'm not complaining.
Wait, who is, by the way?
I think Jennifer Lawrence is born the same year as me.
Well, she's fine as fuck. I kind of.
Yeah, there you go. See.
Yeah. No, because a girl getting popular soon, like that's how most porn stars are at this point. So it's like they have an advantage over us dudes.
Wow.
Like, it's the truth.
Sexist at all.
It's the truth. Most
Jenny,
girls
are guilty pleasure.
I'm just saying, when girls get old, they stop being popular. Dudes get old, they're Robert De Niro all of a fucking sudden. So I'm just saying, there's a difference. When guys get old, we got the advantage. But young girls, they're always gonna win. I'm sorry.
My life is going downhill, guys.
Let me see if I can dig this rabbit hole just a little bit more. Let me try to find something else to say.
You do that any further, you end up in China.
Justin right now. Oh, that's fucked up. I like how Justin's fingers go like, and I'm wondering if he's gonna like tell me off in some kind of like long message on Facebook or something. Like, I don't know.
No, sorry, I'm having a separate conversation with another guy too. So I'm just talking to everybody tonight.
Yeah, he's just on Grindr. Like motherfucker.
Justin is multitasking.
Dude, I'm writing a script, man. I'm getting feedback. I'm doing good, so.
Nice. I like how Dejan's my buddy right now, too. Dejan's like, Nick, you're right. Thank you. And, yeah, just thank you, Dejan.
Don't encourage him, Dejan, man. Stop.
Now, Dejan is my favorite fucking toasting now. I love Dejan. But, Jenny, how about you? Do you got any guilty pleasures in film?
Yeah, this is kind of obvious, but obviously both Power Ranger movies
What the fuck is wrong
are
with you?
guilty pleasures of mine, for obvious reasons.
Because you like Krispy
but
Kreme or some
it's-
shit, 'cause that's what that fucking movie does. It's the same fucking joke. I hate that.
No,
movie.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Shut up. It does not. As much as they like went off on the whole Krispy Kreme thing, it was not that bad. It's like.
No, I'm sorry,
minutes in the
Danny.
movie.
I enjoyed the Power Rangers movie, but that Krispy Kreme thing is the worst product placement I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, I know it's shoehorned in horribly, but it's not like it's like 2 minutes of the movie. It's not that big of a deal.
It's the climax. They stopped the climax. They have the joke.
Yeah.
They continue the climax.
All
I'm
the build
sorry,
up.
but
Yeah, all that build up to be interrupted by a fucking Krispy Kreme sponsorship. Fuck this movie, dude. God damn.
Also, I never-
it's still a good movie. I still enjoy the movie.
Also, side note, I never got that Krispy Kreme donut, so I'm disappointed. Anyway, but I also one of my other biggest guilty pleasure movies is Batman and Robin. As
I
horrible
can't defend you on that.
as horrible as that movie is, I don't know. There's something about it that I just love, just to see the train wreck that it is, with the horrible puns, the horrible lines, and just the overall horribleness of it. I don't know. I love it.
I agree with you, and here's the thing, and it's not loading up for me. You know, the whole movie. By the way, like she likes this part, the one where the circle spins. Shit's great.
Oh, trust me, it's you not showing it is great. We don't do Joel Schumacher to get any more fucking attention.
Okay, and by the way, me and Allie learned recently that Alan is prejudiced against Joel Schumacher. So
Prejudice? He's never made a good fucking movie in his entire life.
Alan just hates gay, man. That's
Oh,
all
and
that
Justin,
is.
how about you? Like, I mean, like, is there a movie from Joel Schumacher that you'll defend?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think back to the catalog.
No.
Here's the thing.
Now you're
I
making him
do
think.
know some of his earlier movies are not bad. Like, let's say Flatliners. Flatliners is not a great movie, but it's a fun, decent movie from the stuff we know about it. You know,
And that's the defense.
Falling Down. Falling Down's a good one too.
Ooh, okay, no, fuck you forever then, Alan. Falling Down's literally like my top 4 favorite movie of all time. So
The number 23, Batman and Robin. Do I need to continue?
No, here's the thing. It's not that he hasn't made bad movies,
He's made really bad movies.
but to say he's never made a good movie is incorrect. And even then, some of his bad movies, let's say like Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera is not a great movie, but it's shot well. It's got great
Is that the
set
one with the what's it called? The guy from 300?
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, is that the one with Gerard Butler in it?
Yeah, no, that's the Les Miserables or some shit like that. It's
No.
French.
Gerard Butler was in the Phantom of the Opera.
He was.
He's not a good Phantom, but yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, and I gotta defend Jenny on this because I'm gonna go ahead and finally load Jesus Christ. But Arnold as Mr. Freeze is literally my favorite Batman thing ever. Like it's entertaining, and I Dark Knight's my favorite movie. Don't get me wrong, and I love Joker, but Mr. Freeze is actually entertaining me. I would rather watch a YouTube clip of all of Mr. Freeze's like puns than watch the Joker on Dark Knight.
Watch the movie. Every line of dialogue he says is a pun. He doesn't.
It's
He never says,
hilarious.
hi, how are you? Hello. Everything's a pun.
Hi.
Everything. Every line of dialogue is a pun.
Very nice to meet you, Batman. I mean George Clooney.
The reason I hate puns so much is because of that movie.
I know you're correct, and I totally agree with you, but watching your pain is just, I'm enjoying it right now.
I am too.
He is
Alan-
legitimately hard right now, Alan.
Hey, Alan, you know what you should do? You should chill out.
Fuck you. How about that?
Why don't you cool off?
Alan, I'm gonna put
Man,
you
you
on
guys,
ice.
guys' jokes are cold-blooded.
Oh.
I'm not doing
Alan, we were referencing that shit came from his head.
Oh, nice
I know
way to
you're
give
not
me the
leaving,
cold
Alan. I know
shoulder.
what your room looks like.
Yeah, whatever.
He also knows what your asshole feels like, Alan.
Fuck you,
Oh.
Ganja.
Whoa!
TMI.
Yeah.
No, it's MC8. MC8. MC8.
Hey, I guess you can say Alan gave him some ice.
Alan, I'm sorry I brought this shit up. I really am.
Hey, what's that background noise?
That's my mom.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Tell her
No,
we say hi.
yeah, but no. Actually, next I'm gonna go ahead and go with you, Alan. What is some guilty pleasures of you? Because I know you have a bunch.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we had an entire night of it last time we did the after hours. So, the one that we didn't get a chance to is one of my nobody likes it here. No one ever will. But my guilty pleasure is Battleship. Like,
Oh.
I know it's a bad movie. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a good movie, and it's long as hell, so it's not a short bed. Which it's just so perplexing to me that someone thought, I'm gonna sink $200 million into this fucking movie, and the choices they make. Liam Neeson's in this fucking movie. Like,
You like him way too much. I'm sick of you and your
do,
fucking
but
Liam
But the
Neeson.
thing is, it's such dumb things of they tried so hard to crowbar the the board game into it, or whatever it's considered, the game into it, and it's hilarious on how they actually managed to make it fit in the movie. They stopped the movie to play. They literally almost play Battleship in the fucking movie at one point.
Yeah.
It is just bizarre and hilarious on some of the choices they make, and how much they're actually trying to make this movie work.
And Kilgore, like about you, because I see you're moving your hand a little bit too, and I'm wondering, did you watch this movie by the way? Because you like this type of action film, whatever. Like, was this good to you or?
I didn't hate Battleship, and to Alan's point, I will give the movie credit. I believe it's towards the end. Did it have real life servicemen in the end?
Yeah,
battle
the
credit
last
sequence?
the climax of the movie, they get real life.
I was really kind of moved by that they had real life servicemen in that scene. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. I will say I didn't know this one you're gonna bring up because maybe everybody else hates this fucking movie, but I actually had a good time with it. I was around the time because this was like right after Transformers 2, and I hate that fucking movie. Like, people, oh, Nick likes Transformers. That fucking second movie I will despise forever. Nothing will ever make me like that fucking film. And this movie was basically that, but better. Like, it was basically like what Transformers 2 should have been, kind of. I mean, this was kind of cool. And I think this came out around the same time Pacific Rim did, or if I'm wrong.
No, I think within a year or two, but it was around the time when Transformers was the huge thing, because this was supposed to be when Hasbro wanted to do their own cinematic universe. They wanted the Battleship to essentially be set in the Transformers universe. Like, they wanted to create the whole thing, but Battlefield did so badly that they abandoned it. So
yeah, so I don't know, man, but yeah, and here's one thing. I'm just gonna call you out because this is the thing I was actually prepared for you to say, but The Happening. Why the fuck do you like this boring ass, shitty piece of shit fucking?
That's
movie,
the thing.
bro?
The Happening gets a bad rep. That's some
No,
fucking
it's
dialogue.
That
You know,
what?
it's
No.
underground. Hey, Ganja, do you like The Happening?
No, man. See, my problem is you put that for bad movie night, and it wasn't even a fun bad movie. That shit was a chore.
Dude, he talks to a plant for like a minute.
Dude, I talked to my plants. That ain't weird.
Boring.
Yeah, but it's like fucking Like, it's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, but it's short though. It's like an hour and 25 minutes.
It felt like 3 hours.
No, man.
It's just,
Fuck this
again,
movie.
M. Night Shyamalan, I've never thought was a good director, and I think he's still a terrible director, except for maybe 1 or 2 movies. And this was just the movie that everyone started realizing, oh, wait, he does suck? And I've been saying that shit for years. So it's like, finally, it took Mark Wahlberg, who I think actually is pretty good, talking to a plant. John Leguizamo doing something in the fucking movie. Zooey Deschanel existing, and it's so funny the choices that they made of how bad, and he thinks this is brilliant.
Dude, even
I still
she's
think
looking
it
at
was
you
the
now
hot
like, motherfucker, are you serious? Like, shit, like,
Hey, I would walk into Zooey Deschanel and be like, my favorite role you've ever been in is The Happening. Mostly that's the only thing I've ever seen you in.
and then there would go your chance of banging her that night because she'd be pissed the fuck off.
Dude,
all
isn't she married or something?
It doesn't matter. It's 2017. Everyone cheats. All right. God damn it. No, I hate this fucking movie, dude. I really, really despise this film. But I'll let you have that. I'll let you have that because I'm kind of curious, and this is a big test. And you and Justin, both of you guys, were watching this movie, and I actually left because Justin was pissing me off. But last week, man, Super Mario Brothers. Do you guys consider that a guilty pleasure, or is that like considered a really shitty movie that you guys legitimately hate?
Oh, it's
I'm
a guilty
gonna say-
pleasure. Yeah.
I'm gonna say
It's a
this,
guilty
yeah.
pleasure.
Compared to The Happening, Super Mario Brothers at least is not boring. It's atrocious. It's a worse movie than The Happening, but it's not boring.
Yeah, because this, like, I was actually thinking, like, Alan's gonna say this too as a guilty pleasure, but this movie, and here's the thing too, at least, like you said, it does a lot of stuff, but it's like, sometimes shit's just not worth the time. Like, I don't get how people watch so many bad movies. You know what I mean?
Because it's one of those things where, okay, when you say something like Sharknado, I'll never say it's Sharknado, because it's sitting there going, oh man, let's make a terrible movie. Let's make something that's bad so people can laugh at it, because look at all those other movies. They make hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're terrible. So let's try to be bad. When you see something like The Happening, Battleship, Super Mario Brothers, for instance, somebody actually sat down there and tried to legitimately make something that works. And it's funny the choices that they thought would make sense for the game. Like, there's this one scene where it's like, oh, how do we explain what their last names are? Oh, just put Mario at the end of it because that works, right? Like, nobody thought more than 10 seconds about any given scene. So the start of the movie, I forgot how this movie starts, and it is fucking stupid as shit, where it's like, oh man, an asteroid hits the planet and then creates an alternate dimension. And it's like, this is trying to explain how Mario has a story, and it is so laughably bad.
It is the only movie, I will say this, it's the only movie that tells people that, yeah, Mario does have a last name, and it's also Mario.
Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Oh, God damn it.
Motherfucker.
I can't believe somebody looked at that and said, "No, that's fine. Don't worry."
Hey, Nintendo approved it. Just saying.
But, really quick, Allie, you,
Yeah.
I'm curious, because I hope you say Star Wars, because you should be guilty for liking that shit. But what are some of your guilty pleasures?
Jeez.
Well, I mean, if you count the prequels, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, like, yeah, those are terrible movies, but I just get so much enjoyment watching them. Like, I watched them so many times that it's like I know all the freaking lines. I don't know why. I know more lines in the prequels than I do in the originals, even though I do definitely prefer them.
Oh boy.
But for some reason, it's just like they're more memorable just to how bad they are. Especially Revenge of the Sith. I'm just like, I don't know why I can remember all of it, but I don't know. Maybe I watched it more as a kid. I just like appreciate the old ones more, so I like kind of refrain from watching them so much, just so it like I get that same feeling every time, you know.
But see,
so,
the biggest thing for me though, and I'm gonna get your opinion on this too, is like, okay, I understand episode 1 was okay to a certain extent, but like when you watch things like this is like the last scene in those, you know, last prequels. This is like the Anakin versus Obi-Wan thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, dude, we've waited 3 movies to see this big fucking fight because this is like the end of it, you know, before A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck was this so bad? Like that lava.
Actually, that fight was actually not bad for the most part.
Yeah,
I actually
it's
liked
not
it.
bad. It's just underwhelming, but it's not bad.
Okay,
Yeah.
like what do you
felt
feel?
like-
Would you agree with that, Ellie? That it was underwhelming, or what do you
Yeah, it's like they built it up, and then it's just kind of like, here it is. Well,
I love the choreographing of the fight. It was really good. It lasted for a while. It wasn't 2 minutes.
Yeah, the choreography has always been good in the prequels, but it's just like when the time came, it's like, oh, we have this other fight going on as well. So it's like watching 2 fights. One that's like you couldn't care less about, like a dude fighting a CGI creature, and then you got Anakin and Obi-Wan over here on this lava planet for some reason. It's like it was just very empty. Like it was all mainly about like, hey guys, look at the spectacle, look at like the CGI. Woo!
Not
You
even that,
guys!
like, even the first big fight with Duel of the Fates, they constantly do that. It starts with a badass fight between Qui-Gon Jinn and Darth Maul and Obi-Wan, and then we cut to fucking the little baby Anakin Skywalker talking about this is pod racing.
Yeah, and we got the Gungans over here fighting like the droid army.
Uh.
Yeah, and it's just like we don't need to
This is
see
a racial
all of this.
stereotype approved by Fox.
Yeah, and then we got like Padme over here like fighting to get her kingdom back. So it's like 4 different fights going on at once, and it was just way too overwhelming. They really needed to at least like drastically cut down how many they showed. You know,
It's just like out of all the first prequels, I feel like every fight was better than this one. Like even the fight from episode 2 when the fucking frog thing. What's the fucking stupid name?
Yoda.
Grievous?
Yoda. Yeah, I hate. By the way, Yoda. I fucking hate Yoda.
Called it.
Frog thing?
Whatever.
Yeah, I
he's
thought it was
green.
like Grievous or something. Yoda's
To be
green. He's
completely
not a
honest,
frog.
to be honest, he looks like a fucking big thing of mucus. But I'm trying to be nice. Like the fucking thing. Looks,
Damn, Nick, what did Yoda do to you?
He touched him.
He was on screen while I was watching it. Like.
But left them in Jedi Temple. I did.
No, but I really, really hate Yoda, and even that fight from episode 2 was better because, for one, it was kind of funny seeing how many movies stole from that, because Freddy vs. Jason stole the exact same fucking, like, ending fight. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I remember when Freddy did that to Jason. That was awesome. And
Yeah, when Freddy pulled out the lightsaber, man, that was weird.
Not that part. They're not really using lightsabers.
I'm gonna show you the Force, bitch.
Clearly, Jason's a Jedi Guardian. Yeah, you know.
Hey,
No.
Jason being a Jedi Guardian would be great.
No, that's the thing. Is like it was funny because there was no like Jedi like shit. It was like, you know, like I press my hand in the air and then you go floating in the air because CGI, and then I fucking. Which, by the way, I hate the Force thing too. Every time someone uses the Force, it's just bodies flying. Like, what the fuck? Like, can you explain something? Can I see something that's like tangible? For fuck's sake! God damn it, I hate that movie so
No,
much.
the Force is invisible. That's the point. It
No, people, you don't like people being lifted up and shit. That's kind of cool. Telekinesis and stuff. That's basically what the Force is. Telekinesis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up because when Dead Space movie does this, when that eventually comes out, there's nothing I can say.
You mean when they just do Resident Evil in space? Because that's all they can do with Dead Space.
Yeah, but I mean the telekinesis. Resident Evil doesn't do that. Oh fuck you, Dejan!
Dejan, this is shit we get on Gary for. What are you doing?
God damn!
Get him, Yoda.
Face.
Get him. Take those Mexican cheeks. Take them.
I love how Allie doesn't have any reaction. She's like, "Oh my god, he's fucking him."
Don't worry, Allie. He's just showing him his bean burrito.
Yeah, he's.
No, she closed out the tab because her mother's probably nearby.
No, Allie, what's actually happening is Yoda's trying to massage his back. You know, like he's having a big kink in his back. He's trying to like, you know, get rid of.
Wow.
You know what the other tab is, Alan? It's a tab for like a missionary school. She's trying to go like to the Peace Corps or something.
At this point, like I'm out of like surprises. Like I feel like
Well,
I've
it's time to
seen.
show the dick.
No, no, no.
You've seen
no.
that before.
At least in the
It's not-
chat.
No,
Like I've seen
no.
everything in the chat. Like I'm good.
No.
Oh man, I think I pissed off Bugs. They're talking too much shit. Like, man, no.
To which I say,
Everything you're
welcome to
into-
the MCA, Bugs.
Oh, and you
You
get
know
on
that.
Alan. Everyone get on Alan. Okay, he likes fucking The Happening. He made us watch that shit. He's a bad guy.
I didn't make anybody watch it. They voted for it.
But one thing I will say though, and one thing I want to bring up is my particular guilty pleasure movie is Ready to Rumble. Yes, I know David Arquette's bad. Yes, I know everyone doesn't like wrestling. It's called because you guys have been told not to like wrestling, even though you basically would like it because you like comic books. So fuck you. But this movie is very, very entertaining, man. I love this movie. Ganja, help me.
I actually like this movie too.
Yes, it's so good. You guys remember this?
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the best thing ever, but the way, like, because the thing is, it's based around like I think late 80s, early 90s wrestling. So it's around when Goldberg, Sting, and a few other people were still big. And the whole premise is about these guys that take wrestling too far, and they run into and too seriously, and they run into a wrestler who does the same. You said he was just basically like a real Bret Hart, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah, or a real Jerry the King Lawler or whatever. But it's funny because like the movie is telling you wrestling is fake, but these two fans don't accept that wrestling is fake. So when they go over there and deal with all this shit, it's like it's just funny because you know that this movie is basically being meta. Meta. This is what happens when you're trying to be young, like with all the other cool kids, and like say words like meta. But it's just I love how this movie is very, very honest about what wrestling is, but at the same time still makes an interesting story about it. It's a pretty realistic movie, you know. And then at the end, it kind of gets a little fucking crazy. But,
well, no, like they show that this whole thing is a fantasy of like a bunch of fanboys gone crazy. Because there's even scenes where he fights like a cashier, like in a wrestling style, and for some reason. I think I forget what famous wrestler comes out of nowhere and starts to fight him.
Macho Man.
Oh yeah, it's Macho Man Randy Savage when he looks like the Spider-Man one.
Yeah, he's wearing the same thing he's wearing in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
he just got off the set.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, I loved it, and this is around the same time. Like David Arquette, for one, he won the real life World Championship from WCW, and also he did this movie, which honestly is another pretty shitty movie that I enjoyed. But Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh no!
I've never sat through that movie.
It's bad, but it's fun. Like
I couldn't do it because as a kid I was still afraid of spiders, so I couldn't sit through that movie.
Me and Nick could have watched movies as a kid, 'cause I love all this shitty shit.
Yeah, like Eight-Legged Freaks. You know, I mean, David Arquette was. I love David Arquette, man. I'm sorry, dude. I find the guy hilarious. Even in Scream, as Deputy, what's his name? Dewey.
He's good in Scream. I agree. So.
Dewey is from Scary Movie, dude.
Oh shit.
No. He's in Scream.
Yeah, but the character Deputy Dewey's from Scary Movie. That's the character that's played like mentally retarded.
Well, what's his name in Scream?
I don't know.
I think it's Deputy Dewey.
With the power of Google, we can easily find this.
Power of Google compels you.
Give me 2 seconds. 3,
Thank you,
1,
Justin.
2.
The bird is judging you.
You're right.
You failed, Justin.
Wait,
Nope,
no, I'm
Deputy
right.
Dewey.
Failed.
I told you. Bam, ganja in your face, bitch.
I'll go kill myself.
No.
This is the third time he said it in the last 2 weeks.
Can you just wait after Flex and Chill and then kill yourself?
I'll do it right at the end of Jurassic Park, so you guys have something to cry about.
Wait, but we have 2 more movies after that.
Hey, that's up to you now.
God, Jay Sean, can you please stop it? God damn it.
I almost want to know where you're finding these gifts, but I also don't.
Alan, it's like burning your guitar after a good set. Of course there's not going to be encore, motherfucker. I just burnt my guitar.
Oh, man. I really like
Give a second guitar.
Okay, Tay, Adrian, don't you guys would probably be liking that shit if it was fucking in your privacy.
No.
You too, Jenny. I know you'd be watching some weird shit like that.
Nope.
Yeah. Fucking nasty.
Actually, Nick, I need you to explain that to me.
I'm not explaining that shit. Fuck you guys. Because
Nick's gonna retire and start a welding service.
But one thing I want to bring up too before we even continue on is another guilty pleasure, Jason X. This fucking movie, I know it has Robot Jason.
Is this the one where he goes to space?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It's bad. Yes. But damn.
Okay.
This movie has a body count for your ass, son. Like, Jason walks through everybody, just like chopping people up constantly, like the whole fucking movie. And then you get Robot Jason.
Head off.
Yes. Legit.
Robot Jason.
Well, first regular Jason, and then Robot Jason's like, I'm even more fucking mad. And then he comes out, and he's like fucking all Robocopped out and shit, and he's just killing people too. Like, okay, Ganja, you've been with me so far. Jason X, yes?
Dude, it was my... I'm sorry, Kilgore. It was It was my first Jason movie, dude.
Me
I
too.
wanted to go see it.
Oh,
Like, if it wasn't for
Oh, and I get yelled at for my first Alien movie being Prometheus.
Because you picked the worst one. Jason X is honestly like.
Oh, yeah, the one where he's in space fighting a robot version of himself. What kind of parody bullshit
Oh, he
is
doesn't fight himself.
Hold on.
He doesn't fight the robot version of himself?
No.
Look, I didn't know who the fuck Jason was. I was like 12 when I went to go see this, and I was with my aunt. It was like the first rated R movie we all got to see with our parents without being on the DL. So I enjoyed every minute of it. The scene when he beats up the two bimbos in the fucking I think it's sleeping
Virtual
bags.
reality.
Yes, and he hits them back and forth with each other, dude. I was laughing my ass off as a kid.
And then he made fun of himself too, because he did that meta thing where it's like, there's like, oh, we're naked, we're lesbians, we're gonna have sex, so please don't kill us. And
Wanna
Jason's like,
smoke
bitch,
some
I'll
pot?
kill you. Like,
So,
Jason,
but they're astronauts and shit. Why are they having sex on a spaceship?
no, it's virtual reality.
No. Why would they have a virtual reality machine that allows them to have sex if they're scientists on a research mission?
What the?
Scientists have.
And you give me shit for the happening.
Because the happening is a man talking to a tree. Jason's killing motherfuckers.
Motherfucker, this is
So
entertainment.
as long as people are dying in convoluted ways, you're fine with it?
As long no, don't you fucking defend convoluted ways. They literally wait for somebody to mow the lawn in the happening just so
Yeah.
the motherfucker.
Okay, then Nick would love the movie then, according
Go on,
to this bullshit. People die in happening all the goddamn time.
Man, fuck out of here defending that badass movie, man.
Oh, I'm sure if it was in space and there were lesbians, you'd be into it.
Dude, if it was in space with lesbians, it'd be more interesting. The happen is not interesting.
Yes, and plus two, here's the thing. That's the big thing that everyone keeps bringing up. Oh, that there's dialogue of Mark Wahlberg talking something. It's still
a plant.
dialogue. There's physical activity, whether it's a virtual fucking reality thing, whatever. There's shit happening. There's people doing gymnastics. There's people flying around. There's Jason fucking chopping people up. Like, dude, I like the Food Channel, but this is better. Like, I like people being chopping up meat. Another thing too, the creative stuff. He freezes a girl's face and then smashes the face against a goddamn counter and it breaks into pieces. Eat your heart out, Mortal
So you
Kombat.
have to
Like,
do any bullshit
Okay.
when people are dying. Okay.
Yeah, apparently Hollywood needs to have lesbian, sex, and murder, and that makes a successful movie.
That's
basically
what's
the way to sell it to
missing in
80s.
Hollywood nowadays. That's why you see the box office failing. Not enough titties and blood.
oh,
And
by
then
the
you
way-
look at the box office and it's the highest it's ever been. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, Jenny, because
Yeah.
you're defending it and you're yelling at me just like how Justin did that first night. You know what else has titties, sex, and blood and violence? The Handmaiden. Yeah.
Stop
Fuck
bringing
you.
it up.
I didn't say
Yeah,
shit
And
about
just like that, you
Handmaiden.
lost your only ally.
Yeah.
No, I will say though, look, I don't care about the titties and everything. Okay, like I brought that up, but I mean it was funny how Jason killed the two girls. But the thing is though, the whole movie has action. The whole movie has story. The whole movie is what, like an hour and 20 minutes, and it does so much shit every 5 minutes. It's busy as hell. It's working to get my fucking to earn the money I spent watching it. I love that movie. I love it. But it is.
I'm sorry, I thought you said it was going to turn you on. It almost went that
No,
way.
it turned me on
Honestly,
too, Jenny.
are you surprised?
You know what? Since Nick is admitting to all these bad horror films as well, I'm gonna go deeper. I fucking love Leprechaun in the Hood, man.
Oh, God.
That is some stupid shit for your ass. Ice-T is literally a pimp looking for
Ice-T's
gold.
in the...
Yes, Ice-T's in it. He's in everything that's fucking ratchet and unhumble to get money from. And he's a great man in that movie. He literally works with the Leprechaun to find gold.
Okay, here's the thing.
Wow.
Bro, I hate this fucking movie. I'm sorry.
No!
I can't.
The line has been
Is
drawn.
it Trouble in Paradise, you two?
I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna sacrifice these for good times to come back.
You know, dude, you should have helped me with Handmaiden because this fucking movie is bad and I can't take the side. This
It's called
fucking-
Leprechaun in the Hood. What'd you expect?
Dude, Ice-T. Fuck Ice-T. Like, I'm so sick of the fact that this dude gets paid to do shit. Ever since Surviving the Game, which is a movie that came out in like the mid-90s, which was okay, and I liked Gary Busey in it. But ever since that movie, he was like, you know what? I can just kind of like walk in and just like, you know, open my mouth a little bit and I can get like fucking money. Like, he doesn't act. He doesn't do anything. I don't even think he reads a script.
He's kind of like Ice Cube. He just plays himself. Like, yeah, man, I'm just an angry
Ice
black
Cube can
man.
do some good stuff, though.
Yeah,
Ice
playing the angry black man and everything.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Ice Cube does the same shit. And at least Ice Cube, his characters are angry. Ice-T, there's times where monsters are coming after him or something's crazy. He's like, oh shit, man, that crazy. Act like there's a monster. You're about to die.
He is acting like a monster. He said that's crazy.
Man. God damn it. I fucking swear. Why don't you go talk to some fucking plants? God damn it.
I will, and I'll do it in a very calm, polite manner.
No, but you'll start singing the "Keep on Rolling" when you do that too.
No, but you know what, Ganj? I mean, I guess it's so ridiculous. I get it, you know. And by the way, like, I think Sammy Eaton shit actually talked about this movie before.
I loved it. That was one of the few episodes I actually watched and loved all the way through.
Yeah, so, you know, it's one of those things. Like, they even liked it too. I know Ian gave it like a better than 6. So if you guys follow Ian Butler, what's his name again?
Butcher.
Okay.
Butcher.
Butler.
Yeah, I was like Ian Butler. I was like, oh shit.
Some profession that starts with the letter B.
Say GP Denzel Cocker. That also works too.
Oh no. But yeah, man. So I don't know. It's one of those situations where it's like, I get it why you're into it. I understand why other people are into it, but still, blah blah blah. I just can't say shit.
I know. I'm not defending it. I will never defend it.
But
Sure?
it is time to get into something that we always get into because we're about to wrap everything up and actually go and watch, you know, some blockbuster films and whatnot. But here's the thing: it's Flex and Chill. Boom. Let me make this. I need to make a sound that goes to that.
Air horn sound.
Why are you doing that? Your titties are not down. They're not that low, bro.
Oh, they are that low. I'm big bone.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Damn. I like how Alan's like, seriously? Let me go ahead and move my hair on my way so I can see.
Hey, Alan, I'll show you in Austin, man, if you really want to look.
Actually, I'm a little jealous now. I kind of want to see.
Oh.
And
I got your number. I'll send you a Black China pic later.
He does.
if you're a host of the MCA, are you breaking like any rules by actually showing? Because I mean, we say other people can't show their titties and stuff. But
Well, last time I checked, I was head of HR department, so I think we're fine.
Ah, damn it. Jimmy.
If you're the head of the HR department, I quit.
Oh my goodness, but no, man, Flex and Chill, where basically we discuss movies that you know you guys have watched on either Hulu or any kind of live streaming. I mean, I even count HBO Go, whatever the fuck. You know, I just want to have some recommendations for people. And usually we always start off with Justin because this dude, you know, he watches a lot of movies and whatnot. So I'm kind of curious. Have you been watching any movies on any of these things?
Well, I mean, there's obviously the big one that we'll get to in a bit. Everyone's thought it's big, but yeah, I've been scrolling through a bunch of different movies over the last week. And one, I went through a film that I just bought in a big bundled Blu-rays, which again, I don't have a problem. I just buy. I buy
Really?
Blu-rays.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I only buy them in bulks of 20. You know. Kind of thing.
Jesus
But anyway,
Christ, dude! How expensive is it? Like $100?
anyway.
Like $5 per movie?
No,
Like,
I'm just gonna throw. Meanwhile, I'm freaking out about buying Power Rangers because I'm broke for Texas right now.
Yeah, but anyway,
Scary.
I actually decided to revisit a film I watched for a film course, and this is an interesting film in the sense that it came out literally the same time Star Wars did, the original Star Wars, but nobody saw it because it's the opposite of a blockbuster film. It's a very intense thriller movie, and this is a movie called Sorcerer. If anyone's ever heard of that one.
Oh,
yeah, I haven't.
Jenny, have you seen this one?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it, and I've always wanted to see it.
Okay, so here's the thing to know about Sorcerer. One, the title has nothing to do with anything in the movie. The only reason they called it Sorcerer is because William Friedkin directed, and it was right after he did The Exorcist. So they wanted to market it towards like, oh, well, what makes people see William Friedkin movies? The Exorcist, even though he did The French Connection right before that one. But anyway.
So they lied to people?
Yes, no, essentially.
It was the
they
70s.
wanted to get people to come in just to see it. But it's actually a really great movie, loosely adapted from a book of this, kind of a similar idea in a French film, where so there's these four guys. They start off the movie where they're each in some situation that caused them to be sent to South America. Like one guy's an assassin who botched a job. One guy is a terrorist who blew up a bunch of people in Israel. They're all bad people, but basically they're offered the chance to do better in life because the company they work for is this big oil company, and an oil well catches on fire. So the only way they can put out the fire is to use this nitroglycerin that they have available.
What?
No, because that's the thing. That's an actual thing people do where, when there's a big oil fire, you can't get in there because of the oil. The explosion of the glycerin will cut off the oxygen and stop the fire from spreading.
Damn, that is like fighting fire with fire, and that's fucking amazing.
Shit.
Yeah, it's amazing. But that's the problem is that this nitroglycerin is old and rickety and wet. So any wrong move, and they will blow up immediately.
Yeah, they did that on Lost. They did that on Lost a lot.
No, but here's the thing. So yeah, Lost borrowed that from this movie specifically.
Right.
There's a bunch of scenes. Like, this movie, I'm going to say this. It's flawed. Because the problem is, you get a big introduction to the characters at the beginning of the movie, where they each have their own little vignette short film that introduces them. And then you never learn anything else about them for the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is watching them travel in this incredibly creepy jungle with all these different hazards, dealing with, just everything possible to not blow up, like just by making a wrong turn. And it may have 3 of the most tense sequences in any movie ever. Nick, if you can find it, there's this one bit when they're trying to cross over this rickety bridge over a river, and it's raining, and it's waves are crashing into them and debris and that stuff. It is maybe one of the most tense and visually striking scenes I've ever seen in any movie. It's fantastic.
And I would show it, but I definitely take your word for it because this movie does have like the trailer over here has so many intense scenes, and the way he's shooting the movie reminds me of Exorcist, like that weird grain that's on the film. And even in the beginning, there's some fucked up imagery. Like I don't know, and you tell me this, Justin, but like this fucking where is it? Here it is. This fucking thing. Is that the exact same statue that was used for Exorcist?
I don't know. That must have been a very short scene in the movie because I don't remember that anywhere in the film.
That thing gives me the creeps, and I actually heard stories about that statue, dude. Like that fucking thing stopped. It's such a simple shot. He get it done in one day. That shit took weeks and weeks. People getting sick around the statue. People fucking got injured. Like so much over a statue shot.
Yeah. Well, and apparently one of the big reasons this movie didn't succeed because it was a difficult and expensive shoot. Like any movie that shoots in the jungle, because they actually shot in location in South America.
Oh wow!
It's a difficult film to shoot, and you can tell, as good as a lot of the shots are, there's a lot of shots that don't match very well. But they clearly couldn't reshoot them because it would be way too expensive to set up the shot again.
Yeah,
so,
but even the graphics, the special effects of the pyrotechnics, basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that's some pretty good looking fucking fire for the 70s, dude.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean?
Fire.
Probably, yeah, it's probably real fire.
No, I know it's real, but it's like sometimes like when I see it in movies, it's like, okay, I can tell like it's a miniature or it's something like you guys are trying to find a way. But this is like, no, it looks like they blew up the fucking city. Like it looks real as fuck.
No, they did. And again, this trailer is selling it as something it's not because they make it seem like this big, spooky, intense movie, and it's actually a very quiet, tense, thriller because you're just watching these guys drive through the jungle. There's only like one real action sequence that happens at the last, 10, 25 minutes, something like that. But the rest of it is just super gritty and intense. So I mean,
it's similar to like the new Cloverfield movie in that way.
Pretty much.
Kind of. Like I mean, even that one is more insular. Like this one, there's actually movement going on because they're driving through. But yeah,
right.
It's that same idea. But no, if you ever get a chance, I think it's only $8 or $10 on Amazon for the traditional Blu-ray that they released because this movie was lost for a long time, and then Friedkin actually sued this Universal who owned the movie, so he can get it and restore it for a print that he made. That's the current print now. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah, as I was searching this on YouTube, like I found two other movies called Closer, one from 2015, one from 2016, which are obviously B movies. These are not movies that everyone knows about. But I'm wondering, like, does anyone else feel like they should be watching this movie, or other people trying to reimagine it? Because you're saying that this is kind of like a student film in some sense. So do other people try to do the exact same thing or take advantage of that, or?
No, I mean, well, okay, you mean like in studying it? Yes.
Yeah.
No, there's been a big cultural reawakening, a critical reawakening to examining this movie because again, it got lost in the shuffle in 1977 when Star Wars came out, and it's been really trying to force people to go like, okay, so is there merit to this movie that it really could have changed the direction Hollywood went had Star Wars not come out, where it would have been more art focused, more thriller focused, but then we saw this big spectacle film that blew everyone's mind, kind of thing. So. It's analyzing how this film either works or fails on the merits of the culture versus the actual film itself.
So basically, whether or not you like the movie, it's one of those situations where this is kind of like a good go-to to know what not to do in film when you make a movie. It's like you do not want to do something where Star Wars will whoop your ass and all your fucking efforts went to nothing and you forgot.
Or release anything around Star Wars.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's a big problem of commercialism winning over art world stuff. And that's not to say Star Wars is a bad movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But it's showing, it's like, yeah, you got to be smart to market this film, because if this film had come out any other month or any other point in time, it probably wouldn't have been forgotten the way it did, because it failed miserably at the box office. So
yeah, what would you rate this movie, by the way?
And that's what I said. Like,
and my biggest star rating, by the way, too, just as no confusion. But yeah,
no, it's one of those films that, like I said, it doesn't really focus much on characters as much as it does plot and director. Like, this is really a director-driven movie by Friedkin. So I would say it's like a 4 out of 5, 4.5 in that range, where it's like, it's very good. I would totally recommend watching it if that's the kind of movie you'd like, but don't go in expecting a thriller. Don't go in expecting like an action movie. It's just a very gripping, artful, suspense movie.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Now, Marcus Kilgore, I was going to ask you, man, as far as Flex and Chill, things you've been watching, what you been up to?
I'll keep this short. On Netflix, I saw a movie called War Machine with Brad Pitt.
Oh, nice.
I did not like it.
I I did a review for it for one of us, and none of us really liked it either. So what did you think about it?
Exactly.
God's
It's
getting
like
ready.
Like Justin, you heard of the movie Three Kings, right?
Yep.
This is like a significantly weaker version of that movie.
I would agree.
It's like it's a movie that wants to say, it's a movie that wants to say something, but doesn't bother having any teeth in its story or its characters.
I kind of enjoyed the film myself. It's a film, right? Because I thought it was a TV series the way they promoted it.
No, it's one movie.
All right, so
I directed it. It was the guy who did Animal Kingdom way back.
Okay, because I actually appreciate it for what it was trying to show, like, you know, how difficult the situations are. I never got to see Three Kings. It might be more a superior film, and I got to add to my repertoire. But, like, the way it was just portraying the soldiers, you know, the general, how, you know, a lot of things are stopping you guys from actually succeeding in the war, and how a lot of things are actually, you know, a lot more difficult than how they perceive it, you know, when they first go in. So, from what I liked it, basically, because from what I got of it, I felt like this was almost like a it was almost like a Citizen Kane, but for General Petraeus, because a lot of the stuff that
it was based off of him. Yep.
Yeah, we're based off of General Petraeus. So I gave it more leeway on that because I think when it went extreme, it was more to escape from like his actual life to give the viewer more of a sense of almost like a sense of a different reality that these people have to go through. Like my favorite part is when he thinks he's gonna meet the president the whole time, and he just ends up just shaking his hand for a photo op, and he hops right on the plane, just no conversation whatsoever.
No,
and it just shows how these guys actually have to deal with this shit.
Yeah, no, on the surface, all that stuff is great, and it's got great ideas going for it. I think my biggest problem with it was just that, one, I didn't find it very funny. Like, I don't feel like it didn't do drama. I mean, it did drama way better than it ever did comedy, and there's way too much comedy in this film. But two, it's also not focused enough. Like, it tried to do so many things, like you're saying, Ganja, but it couldn't decide which one to focus on. Because even there's that bit when they have the big giant battle sequence at the end, and that felt like totally out of place in the whole film.
Well, no, because they were building it up from the beginning when he actually gets into I forget what country they're stationed. Is it Iraq or Afghanistan?
Afghanistan.
All right, so when they get stationed in Afghanistan, he actually runs into the troops, and the main one that cracks at the end of the film. I don't want to give too much away, but like he has hints throughout the film of like he's getting to that point where he doesn't know he's getting disillusioned with the war and the army and stuff like that. So I didn't feel like that was out of place. I personally didn't like Brad Pitt's character. Like, I know he was trying to add something significant to it, like his own kind of play on a general, but just that claw hand and the way he would just perform with it sometimes and just go into, like, this southern and then just a regular Brad Pitt voice, I thought wasn't well done as well. Like, I thought the main character was very weak myself.
Yeah, no, he's doing his Inglourious Bastard character.
Yeah.
A little bit more
exactly.
That's crazy.
Like, you know, I'm going here, I'm going to kick them Afghan and, you know, kind of thing. And it gets old really quick.
Yeah.
If I can conclude, Nick, just one movie I will recommend. It's this movie called Raw. It came out earlier this year. It's a coming-of-age cannibalism movie. And shockingly,
he's not kidding. That's what it is.
It's called Raw. Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies this year. It's a really well done movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, basically the idea is that it's allegory for like burgeoning womanhood and puberty kind of stuff, where she like starts to get a craving for raw meat, and it kind of grows and grows from there. That's basically
like every woman around that time.
Oh,
yep.
No, dude, that's honestly like that's a concept that like that's almost like I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird. I want to watch it, but it's like like shit like this. Like I really hate cannibalism. I really hate meat. I hate people because that's the thing. Like that's all.
That's a hard stance you're taking, Nick. You hate cannibalism.
I think you're going to grain with that one, buddy. I think you're going to be a revolutionary in the future.
Unless you're hungry and there's a person next to you, then it's okay. But I'm sorry. No, that fucking idea is amazing to me. The only thing is, I really hate how some of these movies do that. Like, for instance, this is another movie man, women directors are fucking like disturbed because that movie Teeth, what's it called, Tooth?
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's Teeth.
Yeah, like I don't like body horror movies, and sometimes when they're like very slow paced too, it's even worse. Like if you're gonna do it, I want to see like zombie explosion, roar, you know, it takes me out of the whole like that's creepy thing. But this shit looks horrifying to me.
So how'd you feel about the Saw trilogy?
I hated it.
Oh, I did too.
I've seen them all, and I hate them too.
Yeah, because it wasn't a trilogy, by the way. It's like fucking 20 of them.
Dude, there's 7 or 8 of them.
Dude, I stopped counting after 3 because that's when the coherent story really went out the fucking window.
Oh, that shit went on fucking number 2. Man,
they brought it back for the third one. They were trying, and then by the fourth one, like, hey man, everybody's fucking sucking.
And then they went up to, is it 7 or 8? I keep forgetting.
It's 7, but Jigsaw's coming out, which is basically like the Rocky Balboa of fucking Saw.
Oh right.
Like, so
What,
No, it's more the Creed.
the other guy's gonna train another guy to kill people in convoluted ways.
Wow.
yeah, pretty much. But Jenny, I'm gonna ask you because I mean, obviously we're about to get into Spider-Man and everything, so you are the last one to get into it.
I'm gonna bow out for Spider-Man because I've had to work all week and weekend and I haven't seen it yet. So
Okay, well, yeah.
But I don't know. I really haven't watched a lot because this week's just been crazy with work and everything. I really got nothing. I mean, I could talk a little bit about. I did this is okay. You guys all know I watch Super Sentai. I watch the fan dubs when they come out.
I thought she said Super Hentai for a second. I was
I'm
like,
not about to say like, oh, go ahead.
No,
Go on.
no, not hentai. Super Sentai. I watch the Japanese Power Rangers basically. And holy shit, they had their best episode of the season this past week and kind of blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, and you probably can't bring up too much about it 'cause it's spoiler, but I mean,
I can't really bring up much except for this season, considering how batshit the season started out. That they were starting out with 9 Rangers, like just in the beginning. Fuck it, we're having 9 Rangers. They're gonna have up to like I think the 12th Ranger is gonna get introduced like within the next month because. Fuck it, apparently.
are you starting a football team? Like,
The starting line, the Power Rangers.
And the weird thing is, they're gonna skip the last season and do this season for the next Americanized Power Rangers. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you're gonna pull that off because there's one character who is pretty much just screaming bisexual. Or gay, I can't tell because he's a robot, but he's pretty effeminate.
I'll answer this question for you. Poorly. That's how they'll do it. Poorly.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't know how you're going to pull that off, but okay, Saban. Props to you trying to pull this shit off because you haven't been able to pull off shit for the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So.
Or 20.
I'm just man, you gotta give that Power Ranger shit though. God damn it, girl. Like, man.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I just love it. I'm sorry.
You know what? But can you admit that it's okay if I love Transformers? Can we meet up in the middle here?
I can. Yes.
Thank you. See. Now we just made up. We're
and that day, Nick made a friend.
Now you gotta try to sway Adrian to let Transformers slide.
Good luck with that.
Okay, it's okay. I told Adrian that I like the Power Rangers movie better than Beauty and the Beast, and I think she might kill me in Texas next month.
But she's right though.
I know, yeah. Adrian's in the chat.
Yeah.
Adrian, I have to tell you this, girl, but like that Beauty and the Beast movie sucked ass. And
Thank you.
Honestly, I seen it recently. That bitch can't sing. What the fuck were they thinking?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the one that's crazy. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I love Beauty and the Beast. It's so great." I'm like, "What's
Most
wrong with
people
you
here hated
people?
it,
It's
so you're-
terrible."
Like
You're the
out
good
of all
guy.
the Disney remakes, that was like an honest rape to the original source.
It really is, and it had nothing unique or different to it. It was just like literally a rehash. And
Yeah,
at least you could say, like at least even though Cinderella is, kind of paint by numbers, but at least they added some interesting visual elements that I haven't really seen before. In the Jungle Book, the same thing is something a little bit different. But like Beauty and the Beast was just like, hey, we're gonna do all the same songs except add in maybe like 2 of our own that really suck. And then we'll just have like a CGI fest for Be Our Guest. It's like, this is like,
Yeah, they renamed a song instead of Be Our Guest at CGI Fest.
That's what drives me nuts about the Beauty and the Beast movie is like, there's a fucking stage musical that they did that has better songs that aren't in the movie because they were songs that were originally going to be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just use those songs?
Well, how about this? They could have just used those actresses and actors because those motherfuckers can sing.
yes,
But
Emma
how
Watson
about
and her auto tune, and it's so obvious when Emma Watson's auto tuned and then every other actor is not. It's just really jarring.
Now, Adrian, as you can see right now, I'm not the one saying this shit. Okay? So it's no more of Nick is an asshole and hates everything that has happy, feely, fucking whatever. This movie fucking sucks. I hate this movie.
No, Nick is just really good at impersonating people.
No,
Nick, sit down.
this film.
Nick, sit down. Be humble. Be humble.
I'm just
Adrian, I'm sorry, honey. I really am. I'm so sorry.
Are you though?
Yeah, I'm just saying that movie's fucking terrible. I apologize, Adrian. Although I swear to God, girl, you got some really shitty taste in movies for a critic. But good lord, like,
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. But
Adrian, if
she's
you're
a
listening to
great
this, we still love you.
I love Adrian. Me and her, man. I'm in those DMs.
And I can't wait to make love to you, Adrian.
Oh yeah, well fuck. Don't stay away from Ganja, okay? I know what's going on in Austin when I'm fucking over here. No.
Wow.
Nick already know Ganja's coming after me the first chance he gets. It's
called gonorrhea. Gonorrhea.
Jenny,
Gonorrhea.
Ganja,
What?
stay away from that girl. Stay away from that girl, Ganja. I'll whoop your ass.
No, she'll be fine. Just a little Urchy and Bernie. That's it.
Oh, dude. Well,
Oh!
wait, hold on. You just said she'll be Urchy. What the fuck is Urchy?
Oh, for the love of God.
It's like extra itchy.
Just think of the color of Flex and Chill, and you'll get a rough idea.
Oh!
Then you really need to go to the
Damn.
hospital.
No.
All right, that's it,
the
everybody. Get
MCA rated NC-17.
Yeah.
Get your antibiotics, honey. Get them ready.
Now, here's the thing. I mean, Alan, I'm gonna bring you up right now too because I do want to touch on a couple things before you get into Spider-Man. And
Yeah, I'll be quick.
Yeah, because we all will be because we're all together in this. Because I'm not gonna have you do Fargo yet. Because but Alien Covenant. I know I was watching with you, but like I'm so curious as to how you feel because I don't think it was as bad. But Allie went off, and I don't think it was worth her going off. I really don't. I'm sorry, Allie.
Okay, it's funny because when she went off, I had the biggest smile in the world because I'm like, oh, I was right. Everyone kept giving me so much crap, and all y'all gave me shit for saying this movie's gonna suck before it came out, and I was right, and I was happy. And then I sat down and watched it, and I'm like, the first half of this movie is actually not bad. I was in there, I'm like, okay, they're doing what they didn't do in Prometheus. They're actually going through the science. It's slow paced. I'm actually getting a hang of everything that's going on. I'm really enjoying this. Even when they get down to Earth, I was forgiving stuff that Prometheus was doing, almost the exact same. But because I was enjoying more of the movie, I was caring less about the faults. There are some stupid faults, like, I don't know why the pollen goes into people's ears. It's fucking stupid. It makes no goddamn sense. But I was forgiving it because I wasn't hating. There wasn't as much dumb, so the little things kind of got under the way. Then the second half comes, and it just becomes a different movie. Characters just start dropping left and right. When the alien shows up, it is the most laughable bullshit because it's a CGI monkey thing. And when it's killing people, it's CGI blood, and it's just like, I'm not scared. I'm laughing because of how bad this looks. And after that, it just becomes like characters have one note and they die. And the single funniest Michael Fassbender performance was when he's talking to his other robot self, and they're getting closer and closer, and I make the joke, kiss. Now they're not going to kiss, Then they start making out.
Yeah. It was weird. And here's another thing, too. Like, not just Michael Fassbender being the only person who's in love with himself. Ridley Scott is a little bit in love with himself. I'm so sick of this thing. And the Alien franchise is in love with themselves. Because one thing I'm getting really, really sick of is this fucking bit with the whole facehugger thing. Like, I know that was cool 30 fucking years ago, but can we please stop acting like the facehugger shit's interesting? It does the same thing. It fucks your face. The end. Like, I get it. Like, it's a vagina with a dick. Like,
Whoa.
I mean,
yeah, but really not to go on for too long, I think I enjoyed it. It's still a bad movie with bad CG, but I think I enjoyed it more than Prometheus because it was less stupid. Like, everything was less stupid in Alien Covenant than in Prometheus.
Yeah.
Cool.
What would you rate it wise? Like out of stars.
2.
2 out of 5. See, me, I would give it a 2 out of 5 as well. And here's the thing. It's like, watching this again, man, that CGI is bad with the aliens. When I watched it in bootleg, sorry, I watched it in bootleg, I apologize. But I didn't steal it, though, so I'm not in trouble. I watched it on somebody else's screen. But the thing is, when I watched that movie, I felt like, in that particular, like, bad quality, maybe it looked cooler. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got to realize this is not going to look great, so that's why, whatever. But, yeah, man, watching that with a nice fucking quality to it, it looks so bad and cartoony. It looks like fucking, like, the way the quickness of the movements and the pacing reminds me of Twilight. When they turn into wolves and start going to war with each other, it looked fucking silly. And another movie looked like that, too, which we'll get into a little bit. Sorry. I'm going to make some people mad with that shit tonight. But, yeah, we'll get into that right now, actually, because the other movies, Alan, we're going to bring up next week, because we did review or watch Collateral and some other fucking movie, I forgot what it was. And Collateral is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, we watched Collateral and Covenant at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, people. You know it's time. Yeah, it's here. Spider-Man Homecoming. So, Jenny.
Possibly tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. So I will.
That's the same for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna try to be not spoilery this review, right?
Yeah. I still let no spoilers, so I'm gonna go get some vodka. I'll see you guys in the after hours.
All right, peace.
See you there, girl.
Okay. I'll spoil it for you then.
Excelsior.
Oh my gosh, this stuff. No, okay.
No, so we're not gonna talk spoilers though, guys. So I mean that's one thing, and I know it's gonna be kind of hard to go through certain things because I will say, and I'm so glad that you even say this, but it's finally a superhero movie that can be spoiled because every other Spider-Man movie or every single movie in general from comic books, I don't feel like there is spoilers to be had. It's like once upon a time the ending happened. Like, did you not see that coming? Come on, this movie actually is different in that sense. I don't even know how to start off. Gandra, you might have to help me or any of you guys because there's so much to start off with.
All right, so basically where I want to start off is this is like the first Spider-Man movie I've seen in a long time, and I was a little kid when the original Spider-Man came out with Tobey Maguire, so I know what I'm talking about. I've been a Spider-Man fan for the longest, like since I was a little kid. Like one of my first things that I read as a child was comic books with Spider-Man in it. So me actually watching this film, I was thrilled. They actually got Spider-Man right as far as I'm concerned.
Really
like Tobey Maguire gave me a little bit of it, but it was too wrapped up around like the early 2000, around 2000, early 2000, around 2010, when they're just trying to do basic superhero movies, and they were trying to get the formula right, so no one was really trying to experiment with the heroes. But this one just hit it. The character, I forget the actor name. I think his name is Tom Holland.
Yeah,
he did a great job portraying Peter Parker and Spider-Man simultaneously. Usually, when we get from what we saw from the last two Spider-Man movies, Andrew Garfield could play a good Spider-Man. I will give him that, just being cocky and badass about what he's performing. But him as Peter Parker sucked. He was just another emo kid. My ears.
Yeah,
My ears.
What was that?
No, I don't know. It's the Force. But basically, what I'm saying is like the characters are really well performed in this movie. I have a few hang-ups with some of the villain scenes and some of their use of dialogue. Nick, you'll love this. Their use of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is a little too liberal.
It's fucking awful. No,
it was
has to say it.
wasn't
the first time they
have a problem.
Hold on, let me finish. The first time they used it was actually well done. I appreciate it. Then they were continuing to do it, but in different variations that didn't work, and you could tell they were just trying to force it after that point. So I didn't appreciate that. Some of the dialogue is a little cheesy, and I can't tell if I chalk it up to like just how it's written or just how the actors are trying to perform, awkward teenagers. So I don't know if it's just the way the performance is done with that. Some of the CGI kind of goes from like video game to real a little too quick, and you could tell it's like a CGI effect. But when it comes to like the actual story, I really appreciate it. It actually had a good reveal that I appreciate in a superhero movie that I haven't seen in a long time. That it almost reminded me of what reading the old Ultimate comic book series.
Yeah.
So me personally, I give this better than Sex.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now I'm gonna because I know what I'm gonna say is gonna piss off people, and you guys, I'll give you guys a chance to just yell at me or whatever.
I'm gonna grab my gun.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I'm so sick, and like it didn't bother me too much. Like I'll calm down, I won't yell and scream and the whole fucking thing. But it's like when people make fun of Suicide Squad for certain things and Batman vs Superman for certain things, you need to keep with that shit and not just go with what Rotten Tomatoes and Double Toasted fucking say. Because I'm telling you, that fucking neighborhood friendly Spider-Man shit, which by the way, I don't remember any of the other like Spider-Man movies doing that a lot except for the very first one with fucking Tobey Maguire, and he did it in a way where it kind of made sense. Iron Man is calling him that, like, hey, why don't you be a friendly spider, fucking whatever the chocolate, like, I don't know, and fucking even he says it too, like to himself. It's just twice them doing that was ridiculous in my opinion, and I think he did it again too. Even like there were certain parts where he's doing something where he's hurt, he's injured, and he's like, "Come on, you're Spider-Man. Come on, you're Spider-Man." Who's gonna say that? If I'm hurt, my legs hurting, I'm trying to get up. Come on, you're Nick Diaz. Come on, Nick Diaz. Like,
but doesn't that sound more awesome if you said it like that? I would be impressed.
No, that's terrible. Who gives a fuck about Nick Diaz? There's a fucking building on top of me. It fucking hurts.
Like, you care. You care you're Nick Diaz, man. Come on.
God, it's awful. I hate this shit. I will say, man, I love the other characters. Liz and Michelle are great. I love certain reveals in the movie. The Vulture, here's another thing I have an issue with. The same issue I had with Wonder Woman is the fact that, seriously, that the amounts of shit they showed in trailers, we all said, oh, you're showing too much. And they did. We were right. Every action scene's in the trailer.
I actually agree. There's a full segment of the movie that's cut out from the trailer.
Yeah,
that you don't see a part of. I think the only thing you see from the second half of the film is like the airplane, but besides that, everything else is hidden.
Yeah, because like the airplane thing, I remember I was mad with you, Ganja, because you did an off the clock, and I was like, why the fuck is he on a plane? Why is he Superman? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the way they did it made sense, but it was still kind of silly. And
Right.
another big thing too in a trailer, the whole Robert Downey Jr. doing the thing, he's hugging him in the back seat. Like half of that shit was taken out. It was actually done in like a weird like mobile style where it shows the World Star Hip Hop phone shit going on.
Yeah.
And there's way so much like annoying comedy. Like they're doing really weird like spastic like, hey Iron Man, I'm gonna and he's like running around like just like fucking things up.
Have you ever watched like a teenager's vlog? They are just like that, man.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can watch that on Vine. You can go do it for free right now.
Well, that's
That's what made it more believable.
Yeah, that's what
That's
he's
made
trying
it more authentic.
Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's authentic, but it's like also, you know what else is authentic? If he didn't have any fucking powers. But it's a power movie. It's a comic
Well,
movie.
no,
No, it's authentic about him being
Yeah.
a teenager,
Yeah.
his age. It's right what anyone would do. I would do that. If I was his age and I had those powers, you bet. Yeah, of course I'd be freaking vlogging everything.
I would do that too, but why was it the first part of the 10 minutes of the movie? Like that's a long time to be doing that shit. Like I get it within a minute. Like
Let's set up the tone.
Yeah.
It was only 2 minutes long. It wasn't that long.
It wasn't terribly long, in my opinion.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, I was already like, all right, dude, I get it. Like he was pissing off the fucking limo driver dude. He was pissing off Tony Stark. He was doing it by himself. He was doing it with his friend. By the way, his friend. Oh fuck that guy. Fuck that
That
guy.
was like one of the best parts of the movie. He is
Yeah.
like, awesome.
Dude, honestly, when I was watching the film with the character, I forget the character. I think his name is Ned.
Yeah.
Ned, I kept thinking of fucking Trey, dude.
man.
That character is Trey Cooper to the point when he's like, "Oh man, can I be your? I want to be your chair guy." The fuck is a chair guy? You know, the guy that always look up information is always in a chair. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some parts he did that was kind of cool, especially towards the end. But it's like there's scenes literally, and I know it's authentic. I know Alex gonna be like, "Well, that's what they would do because they're friends," and I know you guys would say that too. But there's parts where literally they're like putting like toys together and just hanging out, messing around with the suit. Like, "Oh man, this is cool. They do this. That's cool."
I know. That's the thing though. Like that's realistic to me because I know 14-year-olds because my cousin's 14. I go see him in Florida all the time.
No, I've been
And
14. I know how people do that.
They
Yeah.
still do that shit, man.
No, I know they do, but why do I have to watch it? Like,
Well, because
people
that's what
also take
it's-
shits. Why didn't I see Peter Parker take?
It's trying to apply his innocence as a kid still. That's why they're showing him that.
Yeah.
It's-
They're
it's
endearing you to
representative
them
of the
as high schoolers. Yeah.
Okay.
representative of the high school experience.
Yep.
Yeah, and like all this, I totally understand what you guys are talking about if this was a book or if this was a TV show. But it's an hour-and-a-half movie. You need to impress me an hour and a half. I need to be entertained. This is a movie that costs money to go see. Hour and a half. You don't got time to be like, hey, by the way, he's a kid, and if you guys couldn't get the fact that he's a kid by the stupid shit in the beginning, here's him playing with toys. Here's him in the room with his best friend with the lights off. By the way, they're gonna make a gay porno out of that fucking movie because Ned and Peter are way too close. Like that shit's. I've never been around my friends taking my clothes off right in front of them. I've never been sleeping with my fucking friend in the room, and then his mom comes in and doesn't think anything weird's going on when his shirt's off right next to fucking Ned. We standing behind him.
Well,
holding
no,
the
they explained that scene. Like he caught him being Spider-Man. He thought nobody was home, and he was just coming to take his shit off and switch to regular clothes.
But it's not even like a, oh man, put your shirt back on or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, oh you're Spider-Man, huh?
He's fucking amazing. He's Spider-Man. What are you talking
That
about?
shit
Like,
is gay as fuck, dude. I'm sorry. Like,
I think you're stretching hard as
Yeah,
fuck.
Nick, I don't get how you
Way too
watch.
deep into this. Like seriously, I don't know why you keep doing this.
it's a
Like, have you been
movie.
watching Alex
He's
Jones,
preaching.
man? Spider-Man, it's not about gay frogs.
I really like how everyone. I like how if I don't like something for a certain reason and I don't say a whole lot about it, it's like you're not thinking enough. I think too much. Oh, you're thinking too much about it. Where's the
You're
nice,
thinking
perfect
about the
point?
wrong things. You're looking
Yeah,
at the
like-
wrong stuff.
You guys are defending parts where literally he's just fucking sitting down. That's not something you should be defending. You're watching a movie of a kid in a room chilling, in a room with his friend.
It's not like they go on with that scene. It's just this like quick scene of what he would do on his like day off or whatever.
And then the
'Cause he's a
following
kid.
scene is literally just a bunch of montages of him asking Spider-Man questions like any friend would do.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm watching a movie, I don't want to see like. I'm just saying, dude. Like you can watch this shit. You can,
And then you would complain if it wasn't in there.
No,
Watch.
I wouldn't because there's movies I watched that I'm like, no, it's cool. It's not. Man, like I can name a whole bunch, but then you'd be like, well, that movie's bad too, and that movie's bad too. Like Transformers, I like, and they explain everything, but then not too much. I don't need to see Sam Witwicky being like, I wonder what a guy with a robot car would do. Maybe he's gonna be in the car ordering McDonald's. He's gonna eat in the car, and he's like, "Oh wait, I forgot I can't eat here because it's a robot." Like they don't do shit like that. It's, you know what I mean? Like they show the action parts. I don't need to see what Sam would do. I don't need to see what John Connor would do with the Terminator.
Well, that's the thing. It's not about Sam Witwicky. It's about Spider-Man and Peter Parker's story to a lesser extent. Like you have to see his lifestyle. Like you have to see how this kid is growing up, how his friends are, what's his social circles. Like that's the whole reason that the montage goes pretty by fast.
And you can do that by being entertaining. If they made a joke in a room with Peter and his friend, and they made a joke in there, that'd be cool.
They didn't make a joke because he was amazed that he's Spider-Man. He just found out his friend is a superhero.
Yeah, and Aunt May does the joke just like, oh, you should probably get dressed, you know? Like, it's not anything big. It doesn't need, you know, I like the fact that it's, like, very small scale that way. It's not trying to be action-y. It's not trying to be...
The other thing you could risk is turn into the Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's just bad jokes throughout the whole thing because they want to keep you, quote-unquote, entertained.
Yeah. Well, I like how everyone's calling us nitpicking because I don't feel like I'm nitpicking.
I love that.
We're gonna make that a thing. We're making that a thing.
Yeah.
Nitpicking.
No, but okay. I'm gonna throw this to one other person. I know, like Allie, all you guys are gonna have your chances to tell me I'm fully over because there's a few other issues I had too, but I don't want to say it right now because they're spoiler sensitive, so we might say that for next week. But Max, like, you know, tell me if am I full of shit, dude?
Well, you're always full of shit, so.
Well, don't interrupt yourself.
But they're supposed to show Spider-Man as this normal kid. So obviously, when you're a kid and you see your best friend as this superhero, you're gonna be amazed by it and you're gonna be nerding out. It's like that's kind of a realistic reaction to that. So it's not like, you know, how else do you want them to interact with each other? Just
yeah. I mean, like, what I would do, like, I mean, if Anthony was here, he'd be like, solutions, Nick, what would you do, motherfucker? Like, what I would do is I would literally just be like, hey, he does the exact same thing he did, but while in the middle of it, make it fast. Why don't you, like, show, like, a montage of, like, him finding out shit, and then at the same time having Peter find out shit, like, that happened after the conversation. You can save about 5 minutes of build-up, and at the same time...
Like, the next
they do that.
No, I know they do that, but they do that in two different scenes. They should have done it in the same scene, because instead what I got, too, is, like, I like the tutorial scene. I like when he's fucking around with the shit like it's a video game. Like, oh, shit, press up. You like your sensitivity inverted, like you're up and down, like whatever the fuck. I like all that. But it's like those are two separate scenes, and honestly, they could have been one scene. You could have played some kind of cool song. And by the way, they did that like 3 times in the movie anyway, so don't nod your head. Like they already did that shit in the beginning. But the thing is, too, is you can also like play some song, have a little comedic montage, and just get the shit through. But instead, we sit there through the night with them two, like on the bed, and his friend being like, "Oh, what does this do? Oh, that's cool. What does this do? Oh, that's cool." I, as a viewer, don't know what the fuck he's messing with. What is he touching? What's so cool?
That's the point.
Two dudes sit on the bed together.
There's like 700 options on the suit. You're not supposed to know every single option.
No, I'm not saying you're supposed to know every single option, but show me 4. Show me something.
No. You see like 13 different things later on in the film and before.
Yeah, even in the background when he's figuring out the settings, he's like firing off the taser one, he's firing off double shots, and it's showing like just the main villains talking in the main scene, and you just see him fucking around in the background trying to figure out his suit.
Yeah, true. But like that's what I'm saying. Like I know that happened because I brought it up even before you guys did. But I'm saying like in the room, and I know I'm really stuck in this room part, but it's like the movie does that a lot, where it's just totally cool with the whole fucking like just hey, this would happen in real life. You guys would react this way too. So let's really show the boredom factor of this fucking character and what he would do.
That's
like what's the boring
kind
part
of
his
the
life?
point of the story.
Yeah.
Like, the point is that Tony Stark is not inviting him on the mission, so there's sometimes where he has nothing to do but sit in the room and mess around.
He's a kid still. Like he can't be out all 24/7. Like this is like something that's kind of always been inside the comic books themselves, Nick. Like Ultimate Spider-Man, like yeah, he goes out at night in the beginning, like hunting like bad guys and stuff, but eventually, you know, he gets it down to a system where he just starts to live his life slowly and surely. That it's almost just like a day in the life of Spider-Man. That's why he's such an appealing hero for a lot of kids, especially for me growing up. He didn't seem too fantastical. Like every time I would read a Captain America story, it was like every time he's being chased by frozen Nazis, or he's fighting aliens, or he's fighting this. I never got to figure out who Captain America was.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. You know, just moving on from that point, it's just like when to compare it to what I liked, like the first Spider-Man movie, like you know, I know they had to build the MJ storyline and the whole like she's dating this guy and dating that guy, but it's always in passing. Like when he talks to her, he's on his way to the wrestling match with Macho Man Savage, and he sees her outside, and they tell you like 40 seconds of her little like she wants to be an actress, she wants to do Broadway, and her dad's a piece of shit, and then they move on, you know, and then he comes back from the Macho Man match, you know, he gets a suit. blah, blah, blah. The next day, he's going to work to the newspaper, and then he runs into her doing a waitress job, and she's like, oh, fuck, whatever. It's really, really short. This movie has those segments, same exact segments, that last, like, 5 to 8 minutes instead of just, like, doing it quick. Like, give me 30 seconds. So you can give me the point across in 30 seconds.
This movie is that movie. Because that's the thing. The other Spider-Man movies are traditional superhero movies. This movie is a teen drama with Spider-Man. That was the whole angle they were going for, which John Watts, the director, made the point. It's like, yeah, this is based on old John Hughes films like The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles.
Like, I did not. I'm going to completely admit, and now everyone's going to be mad at me. I had no idea this was supposed to be a teen drama. I thought this was supposed to be a comic movie.
No, that's the thing. It's like it's trying to find a new way to experiment with the genre. It's not just another superhero movie, which is why I like it so much. It's a new type of superhero movie that's focused through the elements of a teen movie. You know,
my hands are in the air. You guys are right. I'll admit I'm wrong because going into this, I was expecting Civil War continuation.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
and
there you go.
Ganja and Ganja actually hit it on the head perfectly. Whereas like the main appeal of Spider-Man is that he does have these fantastical powers, but he's still in high school, so he does have to go through the mundane elements of high school, like, oh, there's a Spanish quiz, or there's a project he has to do, but he has to keep up with being Spider-Man too. That's why the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon was so good, because it captured that stress of being a high school student, but also being a superhero. That's why I like the movie so much, because it reminded me of that cartoon, and I love that.
Yeah, and here's one thing I'm going to bring up too, because Allie, this is where me and you are going to have our moment where we fight. I think the CGI was fucking bad. So bad.
You know, Nick, no, I'll say the CGI is okay for most of the film. The only things that were ever inconsistent was Spider-Man himself. Like, sometimes it looked like a good suit, sometimes it was good CG rendering, but if he's ever doing a lot of action in one spot, that's when the CG got a little wonky. It wasn't bad, it was just...
Like right here,
it was inconsistent.
I can agree with that.
This looks funny. I mean, it's dumb as shit. Those graphics with him being sucked by the space thing or whatever the fuck that thing's called, the electric wind thingy. It literally looks like Mortal Kombat Annihilation when Sindel's blowing out mountains and shit. Like,
no, it's not that bad.
No, it's Mortal Kombat Annihilation, bro.
I would just make it very video gamey.
Yeah, it does. But, like, Allie, me and you argued about this big time. Like, what do you feel about the CGI and the action scenes in general, and just the movie? Because I know you haven't talked to like, how are you feeling about my opinion and everyone else right now?
I thought it was fine. I didn't have any moments where I was like, whoa, that's terrible. I didn't have any of that, really. I mean, I've seen more terrible CGI in the DC movies. So it's like stuff that I can actually point out that now that is a video game. Like, especially Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Doomsday fight is just like, you can tell when like the actors switch to CGI characters. It's just really prevalent. And I'll even say in Wonder Woman, there's some parts where I'm like, oh, that could have been better. So compared to that, I feel like Spider-Man Homecoming, like the CGI is much more less jarring. Like they know how to like blend it in better with the elements. Yeah, it might not be perfect, but it's definitely better and less weird than any of the DC movies in their CG has been.
Not the biggest thing too is that the superhero landings in this movie really fucking hate. Hey, by the way, like just to let y'all know, like I actually really do like this movie. I really like this movie a lot. But the thing is, like, just parts where like actually in a ship scene before he has to pull the two pieces together. There's parts where he's fighting off guys, and literally like he does like these flips where he just like shoots through like the traffic jam with the cars and everything, and like when he does a flip over a car and lands on his feet, it literally looks equivalent to the Twilight shit where like the wolves jump and like it's like it looks like a car commercial. It's like sometimes when he jumps on something, it's like you can tell there's nobody there. And they just
I'm not
like,
with you on that one.
They gently moved him with the cursor on the fucking street. Like, there you go. It's so light and so soft how he lands.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
I don't remember that scene, so I'm having a hard time picturing it.
Yeah, like, in the ship where those bad guys come and there's like a whole bunch of like, like they're hiding and crouching behind like cars that are parked, etc. Like that happens so often, and he just does these weird jumps. It just feels weird. Same thing with like in the beginning of the movie, with the whole like bank robbery thing and those bad guy Avengers. Let me pull this up over here too. But like there's situations in here too where like he moves so quick, and I know that's part of what he does, especially with the suit and everything. But he moves so quick, it looks like he's not there. It's like people are just reacting to nothing. Right. You know what I mean? It's hilarious to me. I mean, it's so obvious that these guys. I mean, and it's not Spider-Man's fault, or maybe even the special effects guy's fault. It's the fucking actors that he's fighting. that the villains, that they're bad. They don't react to anything like a real person would. It's hilarious to me. So I mean, that's just what I feel about that. I mean, what do you think, Ganja?
Me personally, I don't agree with that because the villains kind of felt like, for example, the main villain Vulture. I'm not gonna give too much away. He has a vendetta against heroes because they were trying to do almost kind of a cleanup operation for the city, and so happens, one hero gets involved, and he loses the job to the point that he has a lot of people that depend on him. That he spent a lot of money into cleaning up New York City, but thanks to corporate interests, stuff like that, he got screwed out of the contract. And he had a chance to, actually use a lot of the technology that he was able, to find to get better himself and his people. So I understand his kind of rationality with that system. Like, especially when you find out later on who the Vulture really is, you understand his need for this large financial get-in with the robbery and stuff like that because he's trying, to keep, certain things of his life afloat. Yeah. And Spider-Man himself really fucks it up. I can't go into much detail because it's a big spoiler. Yeah, but you get where I'm getting at.
Yeah. And you make a very, very valid point. And that's the thing. Like, everything that was good about this movie is stuff that we had to talk about next week because there's a lot of good. Like, everyone's like, oh yes, niggas nitpicking, which is funny. That's why I've let you guys say that this whole time because you guys don't even know that I actually fucking love the movie. It's just,
well, we wouldn't know because you've only focused on the few things like, man, I really don't like the way that he lands in this scene, and I don't really like the way...
You guys yelled within a minute. You guys started like literally like, oh, he's talking shit about it right away. Like,
but
that's why I'm
start with that.
You're not even letting me finish right now. Like, I'm telling you,
burn the heretic.
Yeah, like that's how mad you guys get over your comic book movies. Like, if you don't give me a chance to get to that point, I'm like, shit. Like, I guess I'll just keep talking shit then, since you guys already made up your mind that I'm full of shit. Because here's the thing, that movie is actually really good. It's just a lot of it. If I bring it up, someone's gonna get mad at me about spoilers, and I can't do it because everything good about it is shit that's like, oh fuck, oh damn. Oh, and it's just I saw myself in, even Allie saw herself because I remember texting her and everything. We both were just like, oh damn, holy shit. And granted, I wasn't mad about one of the things, but as the movie continued on, it made more sense, like the reveal and whatnot. And I was like, okay, you know what? That was pretty fucking clever. I didn't expect it. It takes a lot to get me kind of like, holy shit.
Even though I love this movie, me personally, there was one reveal at the end that kind of pissed me off, and we'll get into it next week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I will say, like, I hate the fact that the trailers show all the action scenes except for the last bit, because the last bit, the Vulture scene at the end, which everyone, I don't think it's a spoiler. Everyone knows Vulture's gonna find.
Yeah, don't say anything.
Yeah, but everyone just knows that. You know what I mean? Right. Like, if you don't expect Vulture to be the main bad guy, then you didn't fucking watch one trailer.
Well, if you don't expect him to fight at the end, they're kind of idiotic, because that's how this shit goes.
Yeah, if you don't expect that, don't watch the movie then. No, yeah. But the thing is though, like, other than that Vulture fight at the end, everything happens in the trailer. Like, you saw the movie. I mean, that's it. I mean, unless you want to, see the dialogue, which that's whatever, then go watch it. But for me, yeah.
Well, that's not really against the movie. It's more against Sony and their trailer companies because they do that for a lot of great movies.
Yeah, they do that for Terminator Genesis. That would have been like so much better if it wasn't for that fucking trailer. And in my opinion, Wonder Woman. If I didn't see the cool ass shit that happened in the beginning of the movie already before the movie came out, I would have fucking loved the beginning of Wonder Woman. I would have been like, holy shit, this is amazing. So I don't know. But I will say, like, this movie is better than all the Spider-Man movies except for the first one. I love the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man so much. I really, really love that film. But yeah, there's no silly jokes here where they make you watch some fucking dance scene. I know, like, Allie was laughing at it. I know you think it's funny, Ganja. It was insulting to me how they make this motherfucker dance. That pissed me the fuck off. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man 2, I actually like as well, but I get what people say. I mean, I know Martin just went on a big old rant too on Double Toasted about how much that fucking thing sucks. But yeah, man, I give this movie a 3 out of 5. And I know I talked a lot, so you guys say whatever you want about the movie. Go ahead, give me your review. But I mean, yeah, for me, you know what? 3 out of 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5 for me. But you, Max, go ahead, sir. Like, what'd you think about the movie, and what would you rate it? Cool.
Oh, really?
So,
all right.
So, Justin, how about you, man?
if I had to give...
you fucked up. Shut up. No, go ahead, Max.
Like, if I had to give the movie a rating or a grade, I would give it a 4.5, only because, like, I agree with Justin that some of the CGI was kind of wonky, and you notice it too. It's like, it's not like a little bit, but you notice it with your open eyes. But I feel like also they could have done better with kind of explaining the character. I know they're trying to separate from the origin because we had other movies that did it, but I kind of feel like as someone who's read the comics, I kind of wanted a little bit with the origin, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. And me, because I really don't like origins in superhero movies because they're fucking silly. I'm so glad they didn't do Uncle Ben again. Like Spider-Man handled it the best way.
I get it. Like I get why they didn't do it, because at this point everybody should know what Spider-Man's origin is. Like it's like Batman's origin. We've already seen it. Yeah. But I just sort of feel like they kind of glossed over it. Where it's kind of like why he's Spider-Man, why he does what he does, and they didn't even say with great power comes great responsibility. And I kind of wanted to hear it. I know it's corny, but
Yeah, I didn't want to hear it, and I was glad they did. And here's the thing: I do think Spider-Man: Homecoming is the best superhero movie yet, like ever, to do something where they don't just tell you the same shit you already know. Because honestly, from the first minute, the way the Vulture is even like made or created, like the character of being a villain. Like, it was done in 4 minutes. I mean, the whole storyline for the Vulture happened before the fucking Marvel logo came out. And I was like, holy shit, that's nice. Yep. Like, you made this for me.
That was a great opening scene.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, Michael Keaton as the Vulture, unbelievable. I loved him as the villain. This is like one of the first Marvel movies where I'm like, I actually like the villain in this movie, because, one of the biggest problems with the Marvel movies is that their villains suck. This is like the first one where I can say, no, this one is like a good villain.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the thing, too. Yeah, he is one of my favorite villains. And my favorite villain designs. That Green Goblin shit was fucking stupid. I love the first Spider-Man movie, but that shit was dumb as shit. The Vulture looks amazing. I love the design of the Vulture. That shit is awesome.
Because he had that whole like fighter pilot thing, and I really like that. Like it's like the fighter pilot with the wings. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to Kilgore, actually, because Kilgore, I know you're a huge fan of this kind of stuff. So what'd you feel about the movie, man? And go ahead and give your rating as well.
Overall, I give it like a full price. It was a solid film, great performances throughout. I didn't care for the action very much, but because the storyline was so good, because it was so entertaining, I didn't really have a big problem with the action scenes. So this is easily my favorite Spider-Man film ever. I'm looking forward to the sequel. Great job, Marvel and Sony.
Yeah, man. And and since we're all giving it like different stuff with that sense, the double toasted ratings as well. Like if I had to give it something, I would give it matinee. I really do feel like you should go see this movie in a movie theater. Bring the chick with you. Like it's cool. It's cool as shit. But yeah, Allie, I'm gonna go to you actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I personally don't have much of an issue with this movie. I really didn't see the flaws for the most part, like some of you others did. The only thing I would have to say is that, the romantic interest, I didn't really feel that much chemistry between the two characters. So I would kind of have to go like a little bit down a little bit for that. But honestly, everything else, on paper, this is I think it's extremely solid. Like one of the best comic book movies, definitely the best Spider-Man movie, I think, to date. It just really captured the teenage aspect of Peter perfectly. I thought the villain was one of the best that they've done cinematically in a Marvel movie in a while. And I just think it really sets up perfectly for whatever they're gonna do next. And you're really excited and genuine. And it was just it was just a lot of fun. It was lighthearted. It was funny. So I would give it a full price. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars, really.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, and I know people are just like probably like I looked up too. Tay's like, say something positive now, because I think everybody else was talking shit about certain things too. But no, it really was a very, very positive movie. But Justin, how about you, sir? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just gonna all be very much in agreement up at this point, because I thought the movie was great. Like I went in with a moderate expectation because I love Spider-Man. He's like my second favorite hero next to Superman, and I really wanted it to be good. I don't want a bad Spider-Man movie, and we've had 2 bad Spider-Man movies up to this point. I mean, recently at least. And this exceeded my even with the fact that the trailers didn't show a lot of the movie, there's still plenty of surprises and twists and really funny elements they did not spoil in the trailer. Because that's the thing they don't really tell you in the trailer as much. This movie's hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, there's tons of moments I laughed out loud, especially Ned. I thought he was a great comic standout. But even side characters, there's a great, really funny bit with Hannibal Buress in the beginning of the movie, which I thought really worked.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what it is, but
yeah, and don't mention anybody else as far as cameos go. I know that what Tosa did, but like, because that's the thing. Like, I hopefully he can come on next week because we're gonna talk a lot about the fucking cameos. Because
I'm gonna spoil the fuck out this movie.
the cameos.
no, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and we won't get much into it here. But yeah, I thought it's well made. It's got a great pace. It's got great writing on the whole. Like, I thought all the characters were well defined. I thought they had great lines. The villain's motivation was compelling enough, and it really helped that this is a Marvel movie where it's not trying to destroy the world. It's a very small scale Marvel movie, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I completely.
And
agree.
yeah, so no, I'd say that the only thing I would only agree on is that yeah, the CG on Spider-Man specifically was a little all right, you know, overall. And I will say, like, it wasn't so much that the action scenes were bad. I thought they were good enough action scenes, but there was never that one where you're like, that was the best, you know? Like even the big scene at the Washington Monument when you get to that part, it's a good scene. It just never really like floored me, kind of thing. So, but other than that, yeah, I had a blast all the way through, and I cannot wait to talk about the stuff that happens at the very end. I know I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just saying those very last few like 5 minutes, all the big twists and things that happened there, that made this movie up to a 4.5 on, you know, like straight off the bat. And it's only not just a 5 just because of those reasons, but it's almost there. It's like my top tier of Marvel movies.
Yeah, because I would have been mad about this movie just on everything else, but like even stuff that happens in the beginning and middle, like just certain little like oh shit, like the oh shit moments literally make this movie so much better because I'm still sick of every single superhero movie being a paint by numbers fucking superhero movie. This movie is finally not one that doesn't do that. I'm like, oh, it's so refreshing. Like Justice League, please, please. I know because Thor Ragnarok, I can tell that's gonna be some dumb shit. I'm not even gonna watch it for the show. Fuck Thor Ragnarok. Like, fuck
Nick, can I also say
Did you watching that for the show? Because I'm gonna force you down and watch it.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
I'm driving to Arizona, bitch.
No, but I'm really optimistic about the future of Marvel. DC, man, like they need to do something. You know, we'll see what happens. But Ganja,
Yes.
Yeah, Wonder Woman. Sorry.
oh, yeah,
Me personally, like I gave out pretty much all my opinion through the beginning of the show. So if you guys, want to get all that again, just watch the beginning of the review. But like me personally, I give this better sex. Like I said, I thought they just nailed Spider-Man. As like I said in the Google Hangouts, they can make the Miles Morales story, Blacklight Spider-Man, fucking WW2 Spider-Man. I don't give a fuck. You can make any Spider-Man you want because you guys actually did Peter Parker right. So bring it on. I'm ready to see what Miles Morales can do now.
No, I don't know who the fuck that is, but hey, you know what though? If you really do think that they can do it, judging by this fucking film, you know.
We'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, man. But it's oh shit. I had the thing muted, and then the thing
Ooh,
just got all
you jumped the
fucking
gun
loud.
a little bit there, baby.
I did. I'm sorry, but that's the thing. You know why I'm jumping that gun?
Are we about to finish
We
it?
about to finish. We about to turn this shit off. We about to go.
Who's that behind you?
I
Someone
don't
behind you,
know.
Ganja.
Hold on a second.
Oh, okay. No, but people, it is it. We are done. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. Spider-Man done fucking wore my ass out. But yeah, there's only one thing left to say, and usually Anthony says that shit. But you know, I'm gonna have you say it, Allie. You're gonna scream it. Yes.
Okay.
3,
Attack
2,
the chat!
okay, attack that chat.
Attack the chat.
Oh,
Attack the chat!
I do not know why it messes up like this. It's okay.